I hope it was a good Friday for you. Well, we're back at it, and I'm ready to react to The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 7. Let's pull up Netflix and see what they have in store for us. Did you guys hear the news about Warner Brothers
I'm spending the holidays with my boyfriend's family for the first time.
being bought out by Netflix? Do you think it would get approved? I know Paramount wanted it, and Paramount has an in with this administration, so we'll see which one wins. But either way, I don't think it's a good thing. Monopolies are never a good thing, and uh, Paramount wants to. Hi, Cam J. Thank you for joining me. Paramount wants to push a certain agenda, and Netflix wants to cut out the theatrical business. So either way, it's not looking good. So lucky for me, I'm not dependent on the studio system anymore. I'm just gonna make my content, my um, movies and short films and series, and put them out on whichever platform and or platforms are willing to diversify and give a fair shake. In essence, we can reach an audience. I'll partner with them and share my content. I won't have to depend on gatekeeping Hollywood anymore. It seems to be crashing and burning. When I went on to YouTube, Cam J, I saw Superman, my Superman. Oh, Christopher Reeves. I saw your picture and him behind you. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to watch your reaction to this. It's my favorite superhero movie, Cam J. Oh, thank you. Hi, Assad. So I'm pulling up episode 7. And Cam J, I actually have something uploading on Patreon right now, and it's taken forever. I went and took a shower, and it's still at like 5%. So I don't know. It's really slow, but it's season 4, Rishon season 4 episodes. So if it doesn't, upload by tonight, hopefully sometime tomorrow. But I've had issues with Patreon like that. It's been slow. I've had where I've been trying to upload things for 2 days in a row. So hopefully that gets up. And I want to do the Rick and Michonne like how I did Laurie and Rick. I can't wait to do that, but I need to at least finish their. Hmm. I was wondering if I should do it before we get into the ones who live. Hmm. Or after. We'll see. But, and remember, I actually wrote the Rick and Jesse relationship video. I wrote the script for that months ago. But I am debating if I should do that series for you guys. It's pretty good. I like what I wrote, but I'm so bored with her now. It's just like I may just do the script. I might just read the script or do a live reading the script and discuss it with you guys instead of doing a sit down video like I did for Rick and Laurie, and which I intend to do for Rick and Michonne. So, what did you say, Cam J? I saw Spider Man. You said I'm a Spider Man girl, but I love the 1978 Superman. Yeah, I like Spider Man. I think I was more a fan of the cartoon. Remember the old cartoon? I remember the I think it was they were re-released it because I wasn't. I don't think I was around when they first came out with it. I don't know when they originally came out with it, but I remember the theme song, Spider Man, Spider Man, come and catch me if you can. So I loved it for that alone. But after seeing the first Superman with Christopher Reeves, I was sold. I was a Superman girl from then on, and no other iteration of Superman beats that for me. So because it's my first full foray into superhero movies, I think Superman, that movie is my number one superhero movie. And then after that, I will say Black Panther. The first Black Panther was just with Chadwick, Denai, it just couldn't be beat. I loved it. It was so rich and colorful. Comic book come to life. And I like who's your favorite Spider-Man? I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I don't think I'm a huge Spider-Man fan like so many people. Spider-Man is their number one. But which Spider-Man is your favorite? Hi, Hank. Hi, Navia. Hi, Born Free. Hi, Eric. Which one of the Spider-Mans are your favorite? you like Tom Holland, Cam J? Why can't I bring up for some reason I'm trying to bring up okay, let's see. 6 7. Toby Maguire. So he was the first one, right? That was the first Spider-Man, and then we had Garfield and then Tom Holland. So the first one is your favorite, just like me with Christopher Reeves and Superman. Okay. Oh no, your favorite is Toby Maguire. That's what yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing the original with Toby, but I liked it, but I wasn't like crazy over it, I think uh Tom Holland he fit more like a kid to me, and I thought of, the kid Spider-Man in high school. He more fit the role, in my opinion, than Toby did. But I haven't seen the Toby version in so long, so I would probably have to rewatch to get it, to really compare properly. So, because I'm going off long-term memories and I don't remember all of it. Okay, so let's get into The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 7. The title is Heads Up, and the synopsis is Rick confronts Morgan about his refusal to kill and wonders whether they can trust the Alexandrians to protect the community. Okay, let's get into it. Heads up.
Thank you.
Oh, Nicholas. And then he did that. Fell on poor Glenn. And they're ripping him apart on top of. Okay. So he covered Glenn. Oh, it's been a while, KMJ. Okay. Oh, Nicholas is dead. Oh my gosh, look at them ripping him apart. Okay, so then Glenn scuttles under the garbage can. He's covered in Nicholas's blood. Ooh, some of them found him and they're trying to snatch him. How is he gonna get out of this? I don't remember how he got out of it. Wait a second, I didn't see how he killed it. Did he have a knife? I guess he stabbed and their heads flopped, so he probably had a knife. I didn't see the knife in his hand. Hi, Rashida. We started. I just saw Glenn escape by scuttling under the trash bin. Hi, Marianne. Really, Cam J? Cam J, you don't generally rewatch shows or movies? Me, neither do I. Honestly, so rewatching The Walking Dead, that's rare. And but I'm I love romance so much. If I find a romance that clicks with me, I get obsessive about it. So I was obsessive about Pride and Prejudice. Hugely obsessed. So I watched that over and over. The series, the one with Colin Firth and Jennifer Eel. It was for the longest time my favorite romance. So I watch Pride and Prejudice over and over again. So I get obsessive like that. Then I'm obsessive with the Walking Dead in Rick and Michonne because I love their romance. So I'll watch that. I don't watch The Walking Dead over and over, but Rick and Michonne, like now the ones who live, I'm gonna watch that again. So I get obsessive about that. Now, would you believe? Have you guys, any of you guys, seen Wicked or Wicked for Good? Knew nothing about it. Was my first time when I saw Wicked in the theaters, seeing anything Wicked related, and I liked it. I enjoyed it for the political commentary more than anything else because I'm not into witchcraft and all that stuff. So I was into the political commentary, and I didn't think that Cynthia and Jonathan had chemistry. So I wasn't into the romance per se. So watch that once, it was okay. It was okay for me to watch once. Now I saw Wicked for Good, and I do think the 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 filmmaking aspect, in a sense, it was not the story didn't flow like it did in the first in Wicked. So part two, I didn't think was cohesive or put together as well as part one. So as a film, I prefer the first part, Wicked. But and for the romantic aspect with Fiora and Elphaba, I was not interested because I didn't think they had, well, not that I wasn't interested. I followed the plot and I thought it was okay, but I wasn't gung ho about them because I didn't think Cynthia and Jonathan had chemistry. Wicked Part Two, um, Wicked for Good, I thought the story was disjointed, didn't flow as well. And the songs, I didn't enjoy the songs. I enjoyed the songs in the first one. Didn't enjoy this. I let's not say I didn't enjoy. I didn't think they were as catchy as the first one. But for some reason, Cynthia and Jonathan connected with me more in this version. I actually enjoyed their love story, and I go on YouTube now, and people put up like clips of them in part two, and I'm loving it. So isn't that so weird? In part one, I didn't really wasn't into their love story because I didn't see the chemistry. In part two, I liked the chemistry, and now I'm. This is another couple I that I like. Isn't that weird? Rashida said, "Hi, Diane. Long time no see, Diane. So good to see you." Rashida said, "So far, only show I rewatch is The Walking Dead, the original Beauty and the Beast, and just about all the Jane Eyre movies." Do you, when you said original Beauty and Beast, do you mean the cartoon Disney version, Rashida? Because I thought that was a perfect movie. I thought it should have won Oscar for Best Picture for the year. The animated. Is that the one you're talking about, Rashida? Cam J says, I'm hesitant about Wicked because of Cynthia. She made negative and disparaging remarks about African Americans. I was too, Cam J. I didn't go into it as a fan of Cynthia. As a matter of fact, I didn't watch Harriet. I didn't watch most of her movies. I did see Widows because I was on the nominating committee for SAG-AFTRA. So I did go and I saw Widows with Viola Davis in it was at 20th Century Fox. I went there and they were having a cocktail party for the nominating committee. So we went and we watched the movie, and I met Viola and I met Danielle Kaluuya, who I think is the best young male actor out today. You know, they love to big up, what's that name? They love to big up Glenn Powell and some other guys. They're pushing them really hard in Hollywood now. Daniel Kaluuya is it for me. I think he's a superb actor. He blew me away in Widows, and I told him, I said it. I said, you're my favorite actor right now, and so I met him, and the one that did not impress me in that movie was Cynthia. And then I heard about the comments, and I was like, oh boy, why is it like immigrants love to come to the United States and look down and try to side with the oppressor to oppress others that are, they should find some um like solidarity with, some allyship with, and thinking that their proximity to people who look down on African Americans will give them, privilege. I'm like delusional, so yeah, I was not a fan too. And so I went, and so when Wicked, all the noise about Wicked and whatever, I ignored it. But what prompted me to go and see it, Cam J, was because people started talking about certain themes in the movie, and I was very curious. And because of what's going on in our world today, I was like, you know what? I'm going to check it out because I want to see if this is true. Because definitely, as I said, I'm not into witchcraft or any of that foolishness, wizardry, or whatever. I haven't watched Harry Potter. And so I was just like, yeah, I'm going to check it out because I I'm sort of liking what I'm hearing about the political commentary, and I wanted to see it for myself if what they said this movie was stating was really. And it was. It said it in a way that was not unique, but it was clear. And I like that because media is always used as a propaganda tool. And it delights me when I see stories or filmmakers uh, not shy away from that message, because we are bombarded with the opposite, very subtly, entertainingly, that we don't even think about it. So I like when this skilled filmmakers can get their message across while entertaining us, and bring our emotions in where we don't think about the programming that we have. So we identify and we connect with the characters and the world so much that we put the filters on that society tells us to look, the eyes with which to look at things through, and we let our emotions, we let our conscience, it lowers our, what's the term I'm looking for, when we're being wooed by a story and put in that world that don't have, our defenses aren't up, it actually can speak to us more on a more instinctual level, and where we can actually admit when wrong is wrong and right is right. A skillful filmmaker, skillful storyteller can do that while entertaining us, so that we're not automatically putting up the barriers that society tells us, no, don't look at, don't see the truth, look at it through the propaganda that we tell you. So I liked that he was able to do that. It's the same with Sinners. I tell you that I don't want to react to Sinners because I may be too truthful, and that tells me I'm not courageous, because one of the things I love about Sinners, and one of the things I love about Ryan Coogler, who I met and love, and I can share with you guys, he is one of the nicest, most humble human being I've ever met. There is no pretense to him. He is, you say salt of the earth. He's one of those people. And just a wonderful, wonderful man. Wonderful. And he's just, there's no pretense about him. He's humble. He's down to earth. And and I think, because I think he's one of the bravest filmmakers I've ever met. He is so brave. And I think one of the things I was like, how is Ryan Coogler able to go into an industry that gatekeeps, and who gatekeeps and only lets those in who will sell a message of propaganda that furthers the gatekeeper's privilege and power. When how does Ryan Coogler versus, like I told you, Shonda Rhimes? I admire her as a writer. I admire what she's accomplished so far, but I don't think I think I understand why she is let in by the gatekeepers, because she actually follows their agenda, in my opinion. Ryan Coogler does not. And he does it, and I find him so brave. I find him such a brave filmmaker, and I think why he's able, I question myself, how is it they let him in and they let him tell the audience that what the propaganda, he exposes their propaganda, and he tells the truth, and he does it with such boldness. And I don't understand, and I said, how? And they keep giving him the opportunities. I know they love money, but they love power, which helps them keep the money. So why is it they let Ryan Coogler in? And I understood when I met him, because a lot of people takes his humbleness, his humility for they're discarded by it. They're not discard. They're what's that term? They let their guard down around him. I think they think when they speak to him, because he's so humble, um, they think there's nothing he can do that could upset the apple cart. And yeah, nobody's really going to, you know, we'll make some money off him, but he's not going to make much of an impact. Where his little ripple can't you know, bring down what the forces are doing. And I like that they underestimate him. So, because when you meet him, it's like meeting someone you would think, oh, he's so unassuming. And I think they let their guards down and they dismiss him because he's so unassuming. He's so, hey, and just, it's not golly shucks, wow. He's just, he's laid back. He observes. He seems a lot of, I think, the big wigs in Hollywood. Oh, he's just just a simple guy. There's nothing. He can't do anything. He can't make any waves. Yeah, do that. Make the money off him, and just dismiss him out of here. You know, yeah, you lit a filmmaker, and I was like, how is it Ryan Coogler keeps getting away with it? And you see what Black why I love Black one of the reasons I love Black Panther, because the truths he told in that movie, a lot of people see it on the surface, bang bang, superhero fight, la 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 la. No. Yes, they misread his demeanor. Yes. 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 And he just keeps telling the truth, as he is the bravest filmmaker I've ever met. He tells the truth and he is bold with it. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He doesn't try to make people comfortable, and he doesn't try to placate people so that, because he's not trying to please people. He, I think he said something the other day that I heard. He said Chadwick walked in his truth, and because Chadwick saw his gift as a purpose. He saw it as his as the reason why he was placed here. He had something to fulfill. And so if you're walking in that with a goal where you're not looking to please Tom, Dick, Harry, whatever, and you are focused on a specific goal to please a specific destiny or a specific entity, whether it's God, whoever, whatever, if he wants to honor his family or whatever legacy, whatever it is, because he's so focused on that, the peanut gallery, the audience's yays or nays do not dissuade or affect him, because he's focused on his goal. So I'm thinking that's what guides him, and because he's so brave. And I was just like, how can I be that brave? And it's like, okay, map out who you're doing this for, why you're doing this, and stay focused on that. Toni Morrison, yes, Cam J. Oh my gosh, see, that's why I can have this conversation with you guys, because you are so intelligent, you're so deep, you're so awake, and you get it. I can speak to you and you see where I'm coming from, understand, I'm just my okay, yeah. My subscribers are the smartest, the best. The best on YouTube. Yes, Toni Morrison. Yes, that's it exactly. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember that. I remember that interview. I see it all the time where she's being interviewed by a journalist and asking her when is she gonna write for a specific audience, as if the specific audience, is the center of the universe. I was just Tony Mercer like, why would I do that? You're centering yourself and wanted me to other myself in my own stories. And that, I don't remember what informed me. I told you that my book that it was a script. It's a script for a supernatural horror movie that I wrote. and I turned it into a novel. And I'm sort of I'm not confident in the novel because of the I wrote it in present tense, and because I haven't been reading a lot, then people tell me, well, we're not used to reading present tense. We like to read in past tense. It makes it easier. So I was just like, I wrote it in present tense because that's how you write a script. And it seemed weird to me to put in past tense, but that's how novels are written. So I was like, oh my gosh, are my readers going to not click with this, because it's in the past tense? But anyway, in I had to, and I haven't read my novel in a while, which I'm looking forward to do again and do it with read it to you guys. I'll put it up on Patreon first so that you can give me some insight if there's anything that I can correct to make it even better, because I haven't marketed it yet, because I I want to produce it as a film. So I don't mind that it's not being sold, that it's not a lot of people aren't aware of it yet, because there's a lot of twists and turns in it that I don't want given away. So people's like, oh, I read a book called this and that movie's coming out. I know what happens, and they give away the plot. But one of the things it stars a black female character, and that's one of the things that I wanted my the things that I produce to center black female characters, because they're not centered in Hollywood. So why, so one of the things I had to think about when I was writing, how when you're watching a show, and even when we're discussing a show, we'll say the black guy, but we don't say the white guy. And we don't say we say the black guy, the Chinese guy, the this guy. Why? Why are, so when I'm writing my books, so when I'm writing my scripts, I have to rethink to center, you know, who do I center? Who's the perspective I'm writing from, right? And who do I center in the story? Because you don't realize when you're watching that even us discussing, we see a character, a black character, we're not saying, oh, that man, and then we'll say naturally for the white character that, hey, that's the white guy, or the Indian guy, or the Chinese guy. We call the white guy just the guy, and then we call the black guy, the Indian guy, the Chinese guy. That's crazy. I'm gonna start doing, I thought about that, Cam J. I'm gonna start doing that too. Yeah. But it's just, and it's natural. It's natural if a white guy or a white lady write a story, they're gonna center themselves. It's natural. They see the world through their eyes. So that's wonderful. That's natural. But it should be natural for us. And it's not. Because I've watched, not just reactors, but just naturally journalists, whatever, center other people when they have the POV. And I'm like, we got to change that. Rashida says, we single out the people in the movie. In real life, two people with the same name, we break down their looks to describe them. Yes, but do you describe them by ethnicity? Always. It's fine to do that, but I noticed that we tend to center one set of people and then define the others. We just center the one set of people as man, woman, child, boy, girl, whatever, and then we define the other people as, oh yeah, that, as if they're not a boy, man, girl, whatever. We put some qualifier on on who they are. Ah, First Nation for Original Americans. That's pretty good. I'm gonna be try to be conscious of that. So I don't remember. I know it was my intention. When I was writing it, I was I was doing the default that everyone does. And I remember thinking, I was like, why am I doing that? So I don't know if I corrected it because I haven't read my book in so long. So that's one of the things I'm gonna look for. And if I don't center my character, my main character, center her as the woman, the the woman, and everybody else put descriptors on them, I'll have to correct that. Rashida says, when I work at the three Marias, one white, one black, and one Spanish, when we're calling them, we always ask, which one do you want someone that says white Maria, Spanish Maria, black Maria? Yeah, that's fine if we're going to qualify someone, qualify everyone. But usually when you're telling a story and like say Rick Grimes, we're just saying, um we don't say when we're pointing to Daryl, we don't say the white guy, but when we point to um say Bob, we say the black guy. We're trying to, it's just, I'm just saying, it's, we don't realize it that we center um, some people and otherize others, put descriptors on others. So put descriptors on everyone if you're going to put descriptors, but don't, or if you're going to center anyone in a story, make sure, center, it's okay to center the protagonist, but even when the protagonist is a black person, people have a tendency to otherize that protagonist and define them by their race. So that's what I'm talking about. So it's a practice that I have to be cognizant of because, as I said, we don't even realize this, and it's how media trains us that we think that way. Watch some reactors and see if you see what I'm talking about. Because I've come across it in watching, when I watch reactions for um, Wicked, I tell you, I get obsessed with certain stories if there's a romance in it that I like. So I've watched a few reactions to those, and yeah, and I've noticed people doing that. Rashida said, I usually do put description on people, not always by color, but who or what they are like. Calamity Jane. Racist Merle, Andrea, Calamity Jane. Yeah. All right. So let's get back to The Walking Dead, episode 7. Um, Glenn just escaped under the trash bin. And I don't know how he gets out. How did he get out? I don't remember. Let's see. Yeah, the negative reactors for Michonne call her the black chick. Yeah, exactly. They don't say for Andrea the white chick. They don't say for uh yeah, you don't hear that. You don't say they don't call um and they don't even say like Rosita, they don't say the Hispanic chick, they don't, but it's for Michonne the black chick. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And she's the leading lady of the show. So go figure. The others should have descriptors of them because we're looking from the central character story, who is Rick, and Michonne is his wife. So she is his leading lady. So the others should have descriptors on them if you're going to use descriptors. It's better not to use descriptors, call them by their names, right? But it's something that I notice. He's still under the dumpster. There's a full moon. He's Oh, Nicholas is still there. And he's still under the dumpster. So he's there all night. What is he? Oh, he's trying to get out. So they're gone? I thought they would still. Oh, so the ones that tried to reach him, he killed them. So their scent would cover his by now. So they moved on. So that's what happened. Wow. You're that thirsty, Glenn, and it's just been a day and a night. Oh, the flare gun is destroyed, so he can't let them know he's okay.
Hey, heads up!
Who's that? She's.
Shit. I said heads up.
Oh, Enid. So why is she.
Enid?
Oh, she didn't recognize him. Because why is she like, hey, heads up, and runs off? You know, Glenn.
Enid, what are you doing out here?
There's another water bottle in the corner. Take it and go.
She's like, there's another water bottle. Take it and go. I just realized there's a music playing the whole time, and like I'm gonna get copyrighted for it, so I just had to turn it down. He's that thirsty? Come on, Glenn. It's just been a day and night.
You're not gonna answer me? What happened in Alexandria? You heard that sound? The gunfire.
He's asking what happened to Alexander, the gunfire. He's worried about Maggie.
People died.
She said people died.
The walls? The walkers. They broke out of the quarry early. We got on them, but that sound, the air horn. What was that? My wife. Maggie. Is she okay? Enid,
Answer him.
is Maggie okay?
He's asking if Maggie's okay.
Answer me!
Where did she go?
Enid? Enid! Enid!
Oh, there she is, running away.
Enid!
Why is he chasing this girl? Go home. If you want to know if Maggie's okay, go. Chasing this petulant teenager.
Enid!
It's a whole episode of him and Enid because I can't watch that. Because Enid is not one of my favorite characters. I find her so annoying. I I understand her trauma and her, dilemma and just not wanting to bond with people, but you care about people and then you lose them and whatever. But I have no patience for teen drama or the way teenagers react right now. Just no. Rashida said it was so annoying in this episode. I wanted to choke. I know that she was going to PTSD, but yeah, choke Enid. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I understand it, but it's very annoying. And we already have the moody teenage, uh, aesthetic going on. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not into teen dramas. I'm not into preteen dramas. I'm just not into. Yeah, that's a time of my life of it's long over, and the melodrama of it is not my cup of tea. So no, I'm not into it. There's Rick looking at the walls. The horde is outside, right? So they're hoping it holds. Rick's shirt is so dirty. It's supposed to be white, but it needs some bleach.
We haven't talked.
Ooh.
A little later, okay?
He says he sees Morgan. He says morning. He said we haven't talked, but we should. But a little later, I guess it's about he found out that Morgan released the didn't kill the what do you call them, the wolves, and remember they came after Rick. Cam J say I agree. I don't think I watched the whole episode mainly because of Glenn's fake death. Oh, okay. Rashida said the moody teenager is Ron. Didn't need Enid to, right? Too much of it. Rashida said the pants with the hole in his I didn't even notice. But I was just like, oh my gosh, you need bleach, Rick. Your shirt isn't wide enough. Come on. And interesting. You didn't watch it because of Glenn's fake death. I didn't when I know the audience, the viewers were in an uproar about Glenn's fake death, which speaks to the plot, the plottiness of the writing, the trying to shock the audience instead of just telling an organic story. So that feeds into that. But I don't think I watched the whole of this episode, but not because of that reason. I was annoyed with the writing, but I think I was just interested in Rick and Michonne because I was so annoyed in the writing. I was just interested in Rick and Michonne scenes. So I don't know if I didn't watch the episode and then I only saw the Rick and Michonne scenes, but there's quite a few episodes starting in season 6 that I didn't watch. And it seems I didn't watch this because I didn't know how Glenn got under the bin. I didn't see exactly how he did it, like how I saw it now. I didn't I don't know how he got out of from under the bin. I thought someone helped him, but he stayed there overnight. I didn't know he did that. And I didn't know um Enid found him and that he chased Enid. I just remember that he and Enid turned up together at Alexandria, but I didn't know how that came about. Cam J said Ron's character made sense to me. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Rick killed his dad. um, Cam J says, are Rick and Michonne in this episode? Yes, Cam J. Yes, I think so because I recognize Rick's dirty shirt and I read the synopsis at the beginning and it says Rick does not think the Alexandrians can uh I don't remember if it said protect or whatever. The I don't think the word is protect, but it said something about Rick not believing, trusting. Rick doesn't trust the Alexandrians. And when I saw that, I know exactly what's seen as coming up. Yes, watch it with us, Cam J, because there's a scene coming which I'm going to explain that it's one of Rishon's. It's a good scene for Rishon. So yeah. So when I saw the synopsis right before right as I started the episode, I realized what scene may be in the episode. And seeing Rick's outfit, it is that scene. Diane Sugg says, yes, Rick and Michonne have one of their iconic scenes in this episode. Yes, yes, it is iconic. Diane. Cam J says she's pulling it up on Netflix now. Yes, because I think Rick is going to leave Morgan and go to Michonne. So Pull it up, Cam J. Come on. Oh, thank you, Rashida. Rashida says, everyone, don't forget to hit the like button. Rick sees Maggie, I think it is, and he's climbing up to go talk to her. She's on the top, the watchtower, looking out, I think, looking for Glenn. Yes.
You don't have to be up here so much.
I won't be. This is the direction he'd come in. If he sends up a signal, it'll be from out there. Or
She's looking for a signal from Glenn because, Rick is telling her she doesn't have to be up there. And she said, yeah, but if he's sending a signal, it'll be coming from that direction. So,
won't be.
When we go out there, it's never easy. It's never simple. It's always a fight. We've come back from harder things, from further away. Glenn, Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha, they will too.
he brings up Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham. He's saying, when we go out, there's always a fight, and we've come back from harder things and from even further away. So he says Glenn, Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham will come back. So they're worried about them because they should be back by now. And I wish they would show the horde because I think the last episode, episode 6, the horde had broken off. Rick was supposed to take the RV and drive away to try to get them to follow him, but the RV was disabled and the what was the sound that got them there again? Of the gunshots. And then but there was something else, the horn, whatever. Anyway, so they headed off and they're there and I guess that's why he's checking the walls to see if they're holding, but the blood is seeping through, so they're pressing against it. So I wish they would show it. They probably just didn't have the budget uh to show them in this episode.
Maybe we don't wait for them to be back. We should start figuring out how to draw the walkers away. We have some food and water to last us a while, and the walls are holding. We can take our time, really think this through, do it right.
So Rick is telling Maggie that they probably don't have to they shouldn't wait for them to come back before they try to figure out how to get the walkers away. He said the wall is holding. They have food and everything that can sustain them for a while, so they can take time to think it, really think it through, think up a plan to pull the walkers on the walls away. So let's see what Maggie says.
So they can walk right in.
Oh, so when he pulls them away, when Daryl, Glenn, Sasha, and Abraham come, they'll just walk right in. That I like it. That was a nice little encouraging talk from Rick to Maggie. Without being condescending to her, he gave her hope.
Saw Judith in the house the other day. She's starting to. She's starting to look like Lori. Made me happy.
Me too.
That's interesting. He encouraged her And she was grateful. You could see it in her face. And I think she wanted to do something nice for him. And she thought the way to do that was to say something nice about Lori, you know? So she brought up, she said she saw Judith the other day, and Judith is starting to look like Lori. And it made her happy, you know? And Rick, I don't know what look he had, but he said, I guess, you know, he said, yeah. I don't know what he was thinking. Because remember, we know he's chasing ghosts. And Maggie doesn't know that. But she thought a way to lift his spirit was to remind him of something she knows he loves, which is Lori. And, you know, so you remember I told you that the group has no clue about Jesse. Jesse is not, they don't see Jesse as Rick's woman, and they don't see as Jesse as pertinent to Rick's life. They don't even know that Rick is interested in Jesse, regardless of what the motive and the motives behind the interest. They don't see that. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is like it's happened so quickly, and it's for now very insignificant. And Rick has no qualms about changing that. Remember, I told you if it was about her being married, it would be understandable about not letting others know that there is an interest or something going on there. But she's a widow now. And they don't know this woman from Adams, right? They don't really know her. So there would be nothing preventing Rick from starting to let his loved ones in on the fact that he cares about this woman, if that's really what was happening. Right? Because we're in the apocalypse. Time, you know, is like you don't have time to take your time with things, you know. Tomorrow you may be dead. Because when Rick got with Michonne, he went from 0 to 100 right away. With Jesse, Jesse is gave him the go ahead. He, you know, he backed away. And then she started, you know, it's like he had to apologize, like, you know, I thought it was, you know, I didn't come around, blah blah blah. He didn't rush to her. Remember how he was anxious in the beginning? Oh, we have to do this now, whatever. He was, his anxiety was being fed by his PTSD. He was just trying to get rid of the danger. It wasn't about getting to Jesse. Because now that he got rid of the danger, he's like, there's not that urgency to be around Jesse. You don't see it. And here's Maggie's thinking, oh, to thank Rick for this support he's given her. She wants to say something to nice to him, something that she thinks he would cherish. She knows, you know, he loved Laurie, so telling him his baby looks like Laurie is a way to thank him, you know. So Jesse's not on her radar in terms of Rick. I told you, no, she's on nobody's radar except Carol, who was using her to manipulate Rick. So let's what did Rashida say? Rashida said Maggie always needy when it comes to Glenn. She can't function without Glenn. Maggie brought that same persona with her on Dead City. Yeah, it was annoying. In when they were on the road with she was with Sasha and Bob, and Glenn was with Abraham, Rosita, and Tara. That's when I found them the most annoying at their highest. I got off the Glenn and Maggie bandwagon. I wasn't on the bandwagon, but I liked them as a couple. But I couldn't bear, oh, the Glenn, 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 Maggie, Maggie, Maggie. It was so annoying. And I was just like, oh my gosh, shut up. I don't want to see any of these characters right now. Yes, Cam J, you're right. She put Glenn ahead of her sister and father. Yeah. So I found them highly, highly annoying for a very, very long time. It's just now with when the group got back together and they were on the road together and Glenn started to wake up. I think is it in Alexandria he started to wake up to what Michonne was saying that they couldn't be on the road much longer because they were becoming feral. And he came to his senses and started seeing things as they are and advocating for a different way for the group. So that's when Glenn came back on my radar. He's just a wonderful person. But in the Maggie storyline, where it was just Maggie, Maggie, Glenn, Glenn, I couldn't take Glenn. I found him the first time I watched The Walking Dead when people were caterwauling that Glenn died because I was still annoyed with Glenn from the prison when after Maggie was when he was upset about what the governor did to Maggie and he was lashing out at everyone. I got off the Glenn bandwagon. I was like, I cannot stand this character. He's too annoying. But watching it the second time around, I'm now appreciating the kindness, the of especially even with the Nicholas character, I couldn't understand why doesn't he just, stop bothering with this guy? He's just not going to change. But watching it and seeing how Glenn persists in trying to help this dude that even tried to kill him, I now value Glenn as a character. But yeah, before I couldn't stand him because of the Maggie and the whining. I couldn't stand the whining from either of them. Yes, Cam J say they were annoying. Rashida says, yes, Glenn and Maggie train. Cam J said, I promise you I can spell annoying. Rashida, yeah, typos. Uh, I was never on the Glenn back. I wasn't in the first watch when everybody is like, Glenn, Glenn. I was just like, oh gosh, it's time for that annoying character to go. I didn't like how he went, but I wasn't like, I can't watch this show anymore because Glenn died. I was never on that bandwagon. I just couldn't watch this show anymore because of the writing and it became the Negan show. That's what got me off the bandwagon of The Walking Dead. Yes, the whining. Okay, let's continue. Who is that? Is that the guy left at the gate? What I was saying, why did Michonne and the others didn't kill him to put him out of his misery? The guy with his wife Betsy? Is that what Glenn is looking at? I can't. Is that him? It looks like him. And here is, see, Glenn puts him out. Oh my gosh. Did Glenn see the note for his wife, Betsy? Because Michonne didn't, well, they were running for their lives, but yes, there it is. Oh my gosh. He saw the note. I don't know why Michonne didn't kill him to put him out of his misery. And she didn't take the note. I more likely she didn't see the note. There's a horde, but still. Thank you, Glenn. Did he take it up? I didn't see. I was chatting. Hold on. take the note? Did he take the note? Did he take the note, guys? His name is David. Okay. Hold on. The guy at the gate, yes. That's yeah. Did Glenn take the note? I think he did, but they didn't, usually in filmmaking for to answer those questions, did he take the note? Did he take the note? They call it a, what's the shot? It's not a pickup. It's a, there's a shot where they focus on the hand of the character, or if it's a phone or whatever, so you can see what they're seeing, or that the audience, it's clear that the person took the note. They'll do just a shot with the person picking up the note or the note in their hands, so that you can, those questions are answered. If the name of the shot comes to me, I'll share it with you guys. But they do it on sets all the time. Rashida said Michonne and Heat should have killed David. I didn't understand that part. No, Glenn left the note. He left the note? Oh, man. No, Glenn would not have known he wrote the note. I don't understand why. Well, I understand why Michonne didn't take the note at first, because she wanted to encourage him to say, you will hand it to her. She wanted to give him that hope. But then when he was being eaten alive at the gate, they just stood there and watched him suffer instead of just killing him. So put him out of his misery. I'll never understand that, Rashida. That Michonne and Heath, that made no sense. Cam J said it's in his hand. So, guys, so Rashida said he left the note. Diane said, no, Glenn would not know who wrote the note. And Cam J said he has the note. So who's going to be right? Whoever is right is the star of this video, right? So it's either going to be Diane, Rashida, or Cam J. Who got it right? Gabriel is putting up posters, prayer circled by the solar panels today at 1. I remember this scene. Remember Rick went around tearing those down? Here it comes. That's petty of Rick.
Dad.
See? Even Carl was like, Dad, that's so mean. Ooh, Gabriel went back and posted it back.
Handguns will be a little better for you, Frisco. Magazine release. Slide release. Thumb safety.
That stuff's easy, right, Dad?
Yeah. Empty magazine. Empty chamber. See it?
Yep.
If someone's in front of you, they have a gun.
You're gonna be scared? You will be.
Your body's gonna tense. You won't have time to think. You're just gonna want to pull the trigger when you get it in front of you. But you'll miss, and you'll be dead. You have to get it up to your eye.
You gotta be strong enough to wait for your moment.
Rick and Carl are teaching their would-be murderer how to kill them. He's teaching Ron how to shoot. And Ron is learning to shoot so he can shoot them. Isn't that ironic? Rashida said, I went back. I'm sorry. Glenn did pick up pick it up. He was to give it to his wife, but she's the one that killed herself in Alexandria. Betsy, that's the one that just put. Oh, that was Betsy. I didn't know that. That's a nice little Easter egg. I didn't know Betsy was the one that killed herself. Cam J says after Glenn, but David put David down. They pan to the note. He read it, and you later see Glenn holding it with the same hand that he has with the green bag. I saw the white on top of the green bag, but I wasn't sure if it was the paper because they didn't do a shot. And I cannot remember what the name of the shot is to show him. Like, you would have the actor, so the camera is just on his hand, and they would have him hold it and probably like fold it, or and then grab the bag, so that he has the thing, instead of you see him walking off and a little piece of paper in the distance that you could infer was it. When they want to rule out any doubt, they usually do a shot, and I cannot remember the name of the shot. It's a specific name that it's in filmmaking when you want to pan to an actor with an inanimate object. There's a name that you call that shot. So Rashida is changing her answer. Too late, Rashida. If he indeed has the note, which I'm inclined to think he does, what Rashida says, I did see a piece of white on top of the green bag. It's too late, Rashida. Cam James will be the star of the video. Cam J say, wait, Rick gave Ron a gun? Yes, he did. Sorry, Rashida. Yes, he did. Literally handing the person who is training to kill him the gun, right? What would they say? The hunter gives the rabbit the gun. Okay.
Hey, your finger doesn't touch the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Keep that one with you. Get a feel of what it's like to carry one around.
Can I shoot it? Or maybe like down at the lockers.
Now with things how they are, the walls are strong, but we're lucky the walkers are spread out. We don't want to pull them all in one spot.
Well, what about like target practice in the center of town? Because then the sound will spread out in each direction. Or I mean, we could use like silencers or something like that. But I mean, we probably don't want to waste bullets right now, huh?
See, he's asking for bullets. Rick, wake up.
Just want to learn more. You will.
Look at that look he gives Carl. Right, Cam J? Cam J says, okay, Rick is annoying me this episode, giving Ron a gun. Tell us how you feel, Cam J, and tell us why. Why does it annoy you that Rick gave Ron a gun? Tell us.
Hey, sorry. I was making. You want some oatmeal?
Thank you, Mom. I'm okay.
You were coming to the door. What's up? Want me to take a look at your arm?
No, I'm not here.
What are you here for, Morgan?
I'm fine.
Yeah,
You can
Ron
tell me
wants.
if you're not.
Diane says Ron wants to kill Carl. Yeah, That's why he wants the gun and he wants the bullet and he wants to train to kill him.
Morgan, we talk now.
Uh-huh.
Wait, what did Morgan say to hold on before Rick sees him?
You can touch your arm?
No, I'm not here.
So what are you there for, Morgan? Tell her.
I'm fine.
You can tell me if you're not.
Okay. So she just said, you can tell me if you're not fine. He says he's fine.
Morgan,
Rick wants to talk to you,
talk
Morgan.
now.
Uh-huh. What's going on?
When I was coming back, I tried to cut off the herd with the RV, lead the walkers away. But 5 of those people with the W's in their foreheads, they stopped me. They tried to kill me, shut up the RV.
Yes, Rick is telling him the ones that you let escape came, shut up the RV that I was going to use to pull the horde away. So I didn't even know that's why the RV didn't work. I thought it was when Rick shot them up, but no, they shot up the RV according to Rick, and then so the RV he couldn't start it to pull it away. Plus they tried to kill him. And he said, Carol says
She saw you,
she saw you,
but you wouldn't kill those people.
that he didn't kill
Did you
them.
let any of them go?
Oh, Carol is there. I didn't know.
Yes, I did.
He said he let them go. Oh, Michonne is there too. I didn't
I
know
didn't want
that.
to kill 5 people I didn't have to kill.
They burned people alive.
Yeah. Why didn't you kill me, right? Back in King County?
That's
Pulled a
different.
knife on you. I stabbed you.
That's different, Morgan. He's like, Rick, why didn't you kill me in King County? I pulled a knife on you and I stabbed you. He's really equating Rick not killing him because he attacked Rick when Rick knows that he was, mentally unstable. And this is, he's not going out there seeking to kill everybody. If people didn't come into his territory, he warns them to stay away. He's not actively going out there seeking to murder people. That's so different from the W's. That you cannot compare. You cannot equate those two things. Someone defending themselves, regardless if the person isn't there to hurt them or not, but the person is coming into your territory, into your home, and you defending yourself is completely different from people going out there seeking people, hunting people to murder them. I can't believe Morgan is using that equivalency. Thanks, Rashida. Cam J said it's out of character for Rick to do something this dumb. It's very dumb. He's not even it. Rick is such a good reader of people. So good. And Ron is using his little, brain on Rick, and Rick, it's going over Rick's head. That's not Rick. Rick would pick up why is it that you want to do this? What's the motive? What's really going on? You see what I'm saying? It's not Rick. It's and Cam J said Michelle makes an appearance, even though it is 16 minutes in the episode. It was shocking. I didn't expect her. Morgan and Rex, because they're in Rick's house, I think, and Carol is there at their little meeting. I was shocked to see Michonne. Oh my gosh. It is a false equivalence. Yes, Cam J. Oh yeah, Ron's move. Yeah, Ron is trying to work his little teenage brain. When a little toddler or kid thinks they're getting one over you, but you can see a mile away what their intention is. Yeah, why is it Rick cannot see that? Because he's caught up chasing ghosts. He's just yeah, yeah. Mm. And the writing sucks.
So why didn't you kill me? Is it because I saved you after the hospital?
Because I knew who you were.
Back there, I would have killed you soon as look at you.
But
I tried.
but you didn't hunt him.
For you, you let me live. And then I was there to help Aaron and Daryl. See, if I wasn't there, if they died, maybe those wars wouldn't have been able to come back here. I don't know what's right anymore.
That's the first honest thing Morgan has said in a while. And when I said honest, he's always honest, but this is the first thing that made sense that he said. He doesn't know what's right anymore because yeah, Morgan, you're messed up. You need help. You need to yikes. Yeah. He doesn't know what's right. He can't he goes to the extreme in every case. Every time he can't seem to find a middle ground. But Rashida says Rick is just trying to save everyone in Alexandria to prove Shane wrong. No, that's not Rick's motive, Rashida. Rick doesn't care about the Alexandrians. He actually only wants to save his people. That's it. He couldn't care less about the Alexandrians. He doesn't want to save them. And that's the issue that Michonne and Glenn has with Rick, where they're trying to show him that these people are now that he should try to assimilate with them and assimilate them in with them, that they're there and just try to make the place work and consider the Alexandrians, not otherize them. Rick sees the Alexandrians as incompetent. At first, he didn't trust them. He thought that they had an angle, like how the termites did. He just think they were just waiting, they're biding their time, so he doesn't trust them. Then, after a little longer there, he sees that they're fully incompetent. He saw that they're incompetent too from the beginning, but he was waiting. He didn't trust them. He didn't trust their motives. He thought they had an angle, and he thought they were incompetent. So in both ways, he sees the Alexandrians as a threat. He's not trying to save the Alexandrians, and the only reason he was trying to save Jesse is because she reminded him of Lori. She brought back Lori and that trauma, that PTSD of allowing a threat to linger. So he's feeling threatened on a macro and a micro level. The macro level is that he doesn't trust Alexandria. He doesn't trust it. He doesn't trust the people of Alexandria, and he doesn't believe that they will be safe in Alexandria, either through the agenda of the Alexandrians and the incompetence of the Alexandria. So he's unnerved. Rick is not, he's paranoid and he's unnerved and he's not happy. He doesn't want to be there. So on a macro level, he doesn't trust and doesn't want to be in Alexandria. On a micro level, when it comes to Jessie and her boys, he is using what attracted him to the Jessie situation, her and her boys, is that he saw the scenario the Lori and the Shane, he saw that scenario with her and her family. He saw danger. He saw her and her domesticity, her behavior. It brought back the ghost of Lori to him, like how the ghost of Lori was haunting him in the prison. Jessie brought that back to him, not just with her looks, the flannel shirt, the way she wear it, the girl next door look, and then the cutting off her mannerism, the cutting off hair, but her domesticity, her living in this community, a community that Laurie would have loved to live in, that he and Laurie used to go and visit during their, drive around and look at, because that's what Laurie wanted. I don't know how she was gonna get Rick to get her that on a sheriff's salary, but because the lowest home, I think the townhome started at 800,000. So the house that Rick and Michonne are living in right now, that's over $1 million, and that was in 2011. So that was way out of Rick's price range. And that's what Laurie had him driving around looking, because that's the type of home that she wanted. So here it was, Jessie was living the fulfillment of what Laurie wanted, and that domesticity. So all of that attracted Rick. Not that Jessie attracted him, but she embodied, she was like an embodiment of Laurie. She was ghost Laurie for him. Laurie started to haunt him again in the form of Jessie. And her being that the type of woman Laurie was, and that's the type of woman Rick is used to a Laurie. Rick is confident around a woman like Laurie. That's who he grew up, that type of woman he's used to grow up with. And she embodied Laurie. So here he is paranoid, think they're not safe. He's on a macro level. And then on a micro level, he sees this, he's caught up in the ghost of Laurie again. And then there's a threat that comes with her that makes him zone in even more, because his ghost was threatened, and that the PTSD of he can't keep his family safe. He can't keep. So here it is. He's playing out that drama. He was so angsty. Remember, he was so angsty. He was, I have to get rid of this threat. I have to get rid of this threat. The threat is gone. And look how relaxed Rick is. There's a horde surrounding Alexandria, and Rick is more relaxed than when he was before he got to get rid of the threat that Pete was in his eyes. And people were like, oh, he wanted to get rid of Pete so that he could be with Jesse. Really? Because as soon as he got rid of Pete, it's like you don't see that angstiness from him anymore. You see Rick, looking at balloons. Do you see Rick spaced out? Do you see Rick walking around just haunted? He was so tense. That's not Rick anymore. Even though he's checking the walls to see if they're holding and checking to see he doesn't look haunted doing it like before, where he was like caressing the wall in this lost. You don't see that. And he wasn't agitated trying to get to Jesse anymore once that threat was gone. He even apologized to her, say, yeah, I know I'm not around, because she had said, would you do this for anyone else? And he lied. It was her telling him, I'll do it if you'll be with me. So he was apologizing. Yeah, I said I'll be with you, but yeah, I have a lot going on. He just wasn't eager. He wasn't angsty anymore. And here he is relaxed, walking around town, trying to keep everything safe, doing everything. He's not chasing her. He went into the garage, and she was like, oh, he was worried about Glenn and everybody and what's going on. And she, he gave her the way she was talking, he gave her a pity kiss. At least she stopped talking in a dark garage. Where's the romance? Where's Rick going around with her? Maggie doesn't know that he's with somebody. Because to him, he's not really with anybody. But he's sort of honoring what he said. She gave him the permission to. Hi, Raspberry. Yes, we're in the middle. We're doing episode 7. We have 26 minutes to go, but we're discussing Rick's I don't know why I'm discussing this, but well, we're discussing Rick's state of mind and how he's more relaxed now and he's not showing off anybody his supposedly woman, and he isn't seeking out his supposedly woman. He's not angsty anymore. And it was all about, oh, yes, I was discussing Rick's distrust of Alexandria on a macro and a micro level. And that I was telling Rashida that he wasn't trying to save Alexandria at all. Cam J said, wow, that's the, oh, thank you, Cam J. Diane says, you're so right. And he proves it again when he talks to Michonne. He doesn't think the Alexandrians can do again, be helpful again. Exactly, Diane. Rashida said, Rick had sort of a point. Alexandrians were useless and Michonne was right. He does need to give them a chance. Rashida said, Rick is sort of like Daryl. He's in his element when chaos is around. Raspberry joins us. And Diane says by the end of this episode, it will become really important that they step up their game. Yes. Oh yes, yeah, we're discussing Rick's delusion. Actually, he's not deluded about her. He was chasing ghosts. That's that. I'm telling you, that's what it was about for Rick. He was using her as a substitute for Laurie to try to resolve that guilt he feels about not taking care of the threat that killed Laurie. Hi, Adnan. Okay, let's continue. So Morgan says he doesn't know what is right or wrong anymore. And that's the truest statement Morgan has made in a long while.
Because I did want to kill those men. I seen what they did, what they would keep doing. I knew I could end it. But I also know that people can change. Because everyone sitting here has. All life is precious. And that idea.
So Morgan says he wanted to kill them because he saw what they were doing and knew what they would do. But he says he knows people can change, and because all of them sitting there change. The only one he really should be actually saying, well, you change, is to Carol, because Carol was a murderer. And when I said murder, all of them have killed, but she killed people that were not a threat. She thought they were a threat because they were sick and she was trying to stop the spread of an infection, but she stupidly could not stop the spread of an infection because that's what you do. You isolate people, and they were isolated. So she didn't know. Her ignorance, she was arrogant in her ignorance, and she thought she knew better and killed 2 innocent people. And she did it cold bloodedly, because if it was Glenn And if it was Daryl, she would not have killed them. And these are people that, didn't do anything to anyone. And it was possible they could have recovered. Some people may have succumbed to the sickness, but just like any virus, some people get sick, but they recovered. Some people get sick and die. She doesn't know. Their immune system may have been able to fight it off. She did not know that, yet she took it in her hand to murder those people. So the person that he should have, he couldn't, he, at this point in a story, yes, later on, Rick is going to do something that I would say qualifies as being a murderer. Murdering someone maliciously. Because up to now, Rick and Michonne have not murdered people maliciously, right? But Carol has. So him making a blanket statement to Carol, Rick, and Michonne and said they have murdered people and they have changed. Again, false equivalency. Rick and Michonne are not hunting people to kill people. The only people in that room that hunted people to kill people was Carol. She hunted David and Karen. And I don't like Carol because of who she is. What she did, yeah, but she wasn't remorseful. If she was remorseful, I would say, okay, woman got ahead of herself. But she's arrogant with her. She's arrogant and she's manipulative. And so, I don't jive with Carol. But making that blanket statement to them in that room, again, another sense of false equivalency. And you can see the look in Rick's eyes. Rick was like, this is a bunch of BS. So let's see what Rick says.
That idea changed me. It brought me back, and it keeps me living.
I just don't think it can be that easy.
It's not easy.
I wasn't saying
I
that.
know. And I've thought about letting that idea go. But I don't want to.
You may have to.
You may have to. Michonne.
Things aren't as simple as 4 words.
Exactly.
I don't think they ever were.
Michonne is such a breath of fresh air. Reason has entered the room. Rick is like, this is a bunch of BS, but reason has entered the room. Right? Michonne is trying to, he's saying, this is what I have to do. Morgan is saying, this is the way I have to think to survive. That thinking brought me back from the brink I was at, of insanity, where I was. That the extreme where he was. This thinking brought me back. But that's just another side of the mirror, another side of the coin of his extremity, of his insanity, is that the extremity of it. There has to be logic. There has to be reasoning. And that's what Michonne is trying to say. It's not as blanket as that. It's not as simple as just 4 words, right? It's the same discussion that I had when Carl shot that little boy. Carl didn't have the capacity to make wise judgment, because he doesn't understand, he at that age, or that his intellectual reasoning, his capacity, he didn't have that capacity to make informed decisions. That's a part of maturing. That's a part of learning. That's a part of the experience of life that teaches you not every situation is a blanket situation. There are nuances to things, right? So that's what Morgan is operating as if he's a child with that thinking, that there's no nuances, that everything is black and white. But that's not life. There's shades to everything, and there things, circumstances and situations can make something, what seems like a black and white situation can change the complexity. Just like I'm trying to let you guys know that Rick with Jesse is not as black and white as it seems. It's not, oh, there's a pretty girl, I like her, let me chase her. That's not what's going on. There are actual other things that are informing his motives and his decisions. And that's what you understand as an adult. And when you use critical thinking to assess what's going on, you have to look at people's motives, you have to look at people's circumstances, you have to look at people's past. What is the intent behind the actions? What's motivating the person? Motives and intentions matter. Two people can do the same things, but actually have different motives behind why they're doing something, and different intentions also. And that doesn't make both actions the same. And it takes maturity, it takes wisdom to assess that. And Carl, as a child, didn't have that. That's why he should not have the power or the means to be able to take life, because he didn't have the capacity to read the situation. And here Morgan no longer has the capacity to assess situations, because he sees things as black and white, and things are not black and white. And that's what Michonne is saying to him. Hi, Bravo. What do you, Diane says by the end of this episode, oh, it will become important and they step up their game, so he decides to do the wrong thing. Raspberry, yep, he wasn't in his right mind this season. He looked lost days whenever he's around the Alexandrians. Yeah, yeah. Yep, Rashida, Carol killed David and Karen. Yeah, it was outright murder. It was outright murder. Rashida, killing Lizzie, Carol had to. There was no way to help that poor child. That's different. As again, you see, both the same actions, but the motives and the motives behind both actions informs the intent and informs how you view each the action. So she killed Lizzie and she killed David and Karen. So it's two of the same actions, but both of them cannot be judged on the same level, because the motives and the intent behind both were different. So Adnan, Raspberry said people who can't defend themselves. Hi, Lemarius. Oh, thank you, Lemarius. Cam J says, I love Michonne. Logic all day. Absolute pragmatist, wrapped badassery. In a beautiful package. Can you imagine? How on earth could anyone expect Rick to want anybody else than Michonne? When I say anybody else, anybody even more than Michonne, anybody else than Michonne, to even, he has the baddest, the sexiest, the smartest, and his actual soulmate living with him, and they think she would not be his first choice. Please, you see what I'm saying? There's not a lot of critical thinking in this world anymore, and that's why the world is in the state that it is. Raspberry says yes, Morgan was too simplistic. Yes, Cam J, she's logical and realistic. She's the most reasonable character in The Walking Dead. Yep, that's Michonne. Rashida said the ride is the didn't give Morgan any leeway from all life as precious, and I see red. Yeah, he's it's the extremes. He's at both extremes, and he needs reasoning to be in the middle, find some middle ground. He needs reasoning. He needs wisdom, and he can't get there right now. The writers, Rashida corrected. Raspberry said she's not believable because of the writing, but I think she's the most realistic. Some say that she's not believable because of the writing. Well, that's their problem. Okay, let's see. Continue with Morgan's conversation.
Do you think I don't belong here?
Making it now. You really think you can do that without getting blood on your hands?
Morgan says, do you think, he says to Rick, do you think I don't belong here? Well, if you're letting people who want to murder them go so that they can murder them, I would say, yeah, you don't belong here. But Rick says, do you think you can survive in this world now without getting blood on your hands?
I don't know.
He says he doesn't know. Oh, oh, remember how I said I wanted to see outside the wall what's happening? They finally showed it. And something else they're showing, that one of the burnt buildings outside is starting to crack and it's really tall. And if it falls, if it doesn't fall outside, if it doesn't fall in the direction of outside Alexandria and it falls in the direction of inside Alexandria, it will bring the gate down. Yikes. We know the RV isn't working, right? They have other vehicles. Rick said they have time to really plan and plot a way to get, to find a way to get the horde away from the Alexandria gates. I don't think they have time. Away from, they don't see that this structure is going to come down. But I think they should take one of their other vehicles and go out and bring a bell, and they will follow. The horde would follow. I guess they don't know how to open the gate and just open it really fast and have like Michonne and others in, ready to close the gate and kill any that will, because they're not all piled up at the gate. They have quite a good group at the gate, but they're not all piled up. They could handle that. I don't know why they're waiting. Rick really thinks the walls are strong enough, and that's Rashida says, I wish Deanna and Redwith would have knocked down these buildings. Yeah, those buildings outside. Yeah. Carol ruined Morgan's storyline. Why did he have to save her damsel distress again? Yeah, because they didn't have a storyline for her. Because Carol is dead Carol was dead at the prison in the comics. So they kept giving her some of Michonne's storyline, because Michonne was with Tyrese, Michonne's with Ezekiel, I think Michonne was with Morgan. So they tied those characters. And remember, Morgan, Tyrese was Rick's secondhand man. And now that goes to Daryl. So they have to give Tyrese a story. So, he's not with Michonne because Rick put Michonne on lockdown. Andy said, nope, that's my leading lady. So nobody's getting her. So they put Michonne on lockdown, so they weren't going to have Michonne and Tyrese be a couple or have their stories intertwined too much. They had a small scenes here and there, they give a little nod, but they weren't going to make them because Andy said Rick and Michonne. Michonne belongs to Rick. So the writers, you know, so they gave Tyrese, they married Tyrese and Carol in a story. Same thing with Morgan and same thing with Ezekiel. So that's why it was to they repurposed they used those characters to serve Carol, to give Carol a story. So and those guys were completely emasculated in many ways, it's just and made nonsensical some of their decisions. So yeah, you'll never hear me cheering yay go Carol. When I first watched it, I was yay, but after a while I soured because I saw the manipulation and everything. But watching it a second time, my eyes opened even more early on because I was like, oh, so this was who she was all along. We just didn't see it because she was experiencing, you know, the domestic violence and the timidity, but the manipulation was always there. It's just and the selfishness in essence doing things to protect herself. Remember when she tried to turn Daryl against Rick before the prison, after the farm, and it's just a few stuff even before that, blaming Rick for Sophia's death. Rick, who the only one that went after her. Yeah, whatever. Raspberry, you're right. She can't be the badass and damsel in distress mode. Which one is it for Miss Carol? They want everything. They want Michonne's badassery and they want her to be the damsel in distress because that's the fairy tale story that they were brought upon it with Disney. So they want it all for their you know for their character. Um, Diane said, "I think that building is the bell tower. It looks like it's outside, right? Diane, it's outside. Mm. It was burnt up, so they should have taken that down." Rashida Raspberry says, "I'm so tired of seeing her crying and some man helping her." Yep. It's the same cycle over and over again. It's boring. Rashida, Michonne was first with Tyrese, then Morgan, then King Ezekiel. Then they tried to give her to Heath in the comics. That's right. So yeah, that didn't happen in the show because Andrew Lincoln said day one, Michonne was his new leading lady, and that was it. And poor Michonne was locked down, which that I am 100% against the writing in the comics for Michonne in the terms of how they had her traumatized by the governor, raped, brutally raped, and then that trauma, living out that through the PTSD of being with everybody that she came across, every black guy. So the writing was filthy in that sense. So I'm completely against that. But I'm completely against the extreme that they locked down Michonne because they were preserving her for Rick. You know, she didn't have to be with anyone, but you could show other people interested. But the only time I saw like there was a little chem test, um and they dropped it like hot potato. I don't know what happened behind the scene. I don't know who talked to who, but they were testing Michonne and Daryl. And I told Cam J that I finished the Michonne season 4 edit, and I'm uploading it on Patreon Patreon now, guys. But my computer, I don't know if it's my computer, I don't know if it's my internet, I don't know if it's Patreon. It's going so slowly. I don't even think it will finish uploading tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if I have to restart it again tomorrow and it doesn't upload till Sunday. Sometimes I have trouble uploading things on Patreon like that. Hold on, I'm getting hot. I need to turn the fan on. Hold on a second. So so the I'm uploading the season 4 edit of Rishon on Patreon. So in editing that, I came across a scene with Daryl and Michonne when they were going off to get what were they doing? I don't remember what, if they were going to get stuff for the medicine for the people that were sick at the prison, or if it was something else. But oh my gosh, Daryl and Michonne, Daryl was checking Michonne out. Remember how Norman Reedus told on Andrew Lincoln that Andy had Rick check out Michonne at the prison at the end of season 3, and he's like, "Oh, Andy's gonna kill me." Well, he did it. Norman Reedus checked out Michonne in the same exact way. So what does that tell you? Was Norman trying to push the writers to pair Michonne with Daryl? And if Norman Reedus was doing that, that's really not nice, because he knew that Andy wanted Rick with Michonne. So for him to do that, to try to influence the writers that, oh look, see, it was just a simple dialogue. But remember, you can write in a script, Daryl and Michonne discuss going on a run, and Daryl asks Michonne to get the thing, and the equipment, and she says she knows where is it, and she goes and get it. Writers can put in it that he looks Michonne up and down, or whatever. But I did not see that scene as like a test. I didn't see that initial scene as a test. Later on, I could see some, the writers trying to just do a little test there. But the way that Norman Reedus played it, he inserted Daryl giving Michonne a once over look, and that doesn't fit the character of Daryl. That's why I don't believe the writers would have put that in the script, because Daryl at that point was still not forward with women. That was just not his thing. Just like how in the beginning of season 4, when they had the people at the prison, oh Daryl, oh you're so great, and Daryl, and he's like walking around, and he was acting like Norman Reedus. He was not playing Daryl. So in season 1 and season 2, Norman Reedus played Daryl. So as he played Daryl as this really hot-headed, but really insecure, and hot-headed, but underneath it all insecure and wanting to be accepted. So that that vulnerability, that the way he played, that's not who Norman Reedus is, right? But in the beginning of season 4, it was, I was just seeing Norman Reedus. He was not playing Daryl. He was not acting. He was just being himself. I'm like, really? So Daryl giving Michonne the once over, the same thing Norman Reedus accused Andy of having Rick do to Michonne. He did it. He did it when he had that scene with Michonne. So I think he was in a way subtly trying to influence the writers to then there were people like, oh, do you see that? And actually fans, viewers, I remember viewers are like, oh my gosh, Daryl and Michonne could be a couple because I see, but Daryl was doing that. Norman was doing that. Norman, that we found out later from Andy, well, not actually, it wasn't from Andy. Norman says he wanted to be paired with Michonne. And Andy said it also. So I think because Andy wanted Rick with Michonne, and so many of the Michonne, the guys that was paired with Michonne were coming onto the show. Tyrese, Morgan was coming back. Who else? All of those people that Michonne was with were coming. And then you had Norman Reedus trying to, get in on his territory. There's like, really? I think they overdid it in keeping Michonne single or having no one show interest in Michonne. And that was not fair, in my opinion. It was not fair. Yet every other woman had every other man or some guy given, whether they were with them or not, showing interest. So I was just like, they dropped and put poor Michonne in a little bottle. It was like, this is not fair. Raspberry said Andy only wanted, yes, he only wanted Michonne with Rick. That's it. It's, as Denai told us, that the first day, Andy wrote Denai a letter and said, to my new leading lady. That's it. He made a choice. And he went on a campaign. Almost every interview, he was campaigning for Rick and Michonne. And I can't believe, well, yes, I can believe because Norman loved to rib, to tease Andy and threatening to take his leading lady for Daryl. Oh my gosh. That would not have been good. Rashida said, me too. At first I was like, go, Carol, go. Then on the rewatch, she wasn't realistic. Yeah. No, I was a big Carol fan, but then I started the issue with Sam. After that, I fell off and I was like, nope. And then as the writing went on and the stuff started getting unrealistic, and then something they had Rick said made me go, nope, 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 nope. And when it gets to that episode where Rick says something, I'll let you guys in on it. I was like, okay, this is crap. This is crap. And I was off the character from then. Raspberry said, I can't believe Andrea's actor thought she'd be the leading lady. Like, girl, bye. They never saw the chemistry between Andy and her. Yeah, they did a test. They did a test, episode 2, when Glenn saved Rick and he met Andrea. They did a chemistry test and it just didn't gel. And then there was no way Andy would want Andrea with Rick after she was with Shane, after what Rick went through with Shane and Laurie, and then she was with the governor. There is I don't know why Laurie Holden didn't see what was happening in the terms of that it would not be feasible, and not feasible it would degrade Rick's character for him to be with someone who, one, has no sense, can't read people when that's one of his greatest strengths, and that she rushed to bone every man that chat was against Rick. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, even if the comics was going in that direction, think Lauren, why would Andy want his character with your character when the things your character are doing were the antithesis to who Rick Grimes is and would actually bring his character down? That made no sense. Rashida says the Michonne haters are unbelievable. They all say that Rick wanted Jesse. Yeah, so what? That's what they hate Michonne. So they will lie and they will project and they will insinuate things that feeds their agenda, which is to dismiss Michonne. So who cares what they say? Uh, Raspberry says, yup. What did you say, Cam J? You were you retracted your message. Darn it, I missed it. um, Raspberry says, yep, but they had no chemistry. Some people said Rick was recoiling from the kiss, and he wasn't into it on purpose. Yeah, and Andy knows what he wants for his character because the character has to make sense to him. Even if the character is a villain, the actor wants to know why the character is doing something. If the reason is that they're evil because they enjoy, it gives them a rush, the actor wants to know that. And the actor can react naturally and play that motive, play that intent behind their actions. So Andy understood, for him, he understood who Rick Grimes was and played Rick Grimes accordingly to who he understands Rick Grimes is. And for him, the type of woman Rick Grimes would want would be an intelligent woman, a kind woman, a compassionate woman, a woman who wasn't seeking validation from men, who wasn't about themselves, because he experienced that with his Rick Grimes experienced that with his first wife, and it was an issue with them. They were not compatible. They weren't the Rick Grimes and Lori Grimes were not compatible, but they're live in a small town and she is the girl next door, and they ended up together, and they're trying to make their marriage work, but they were not compatible. So why would he regress to that? And why would Rick want someone who, especially when the everything is heightened, survival is heightened, he doesn't have time for games. He doesn't have time to feed some woman's ego and narcissism, right? It just doesn't make sense. It wasn't. He was with someone like that because that's what was available to him in his small town, and he put up with it. But the stresses of his life weren't as great as the what do you call it? It wasn't as great as the apocalypse. So he could compartmentalize, he could throw himself into his work, and that's what he did. And that's what Laurie, who is a narcissist and wants to be, is self-centered, she couldn't get Rick to focus on her, to make her she couldn't get Rick to put her at the center of his life, to be the be all and end all, right? And because they were not compatible, but Rick threw himself into his work, and even that was an issue for her because she's like, he's always leaving. In the apocalypse, those things that you sort of smooth over, try to taper over or put under the rug for a later date, you know, that they're not fixing in their marriage, you don't have time to fix it in the apocalypse. You don't even have time to cover it up. So we saw the cracks. It was blatant. It was there. It was laid bare, and they didn't survive it because she's a narcissist and she needs her supply. She needs to be fed, and Shane fed that through his narcissism, right? So he gave her the attention that Rick wouldn't. He made her the center of, he made her the be all and end all. Not because he loved her, because he was using her as a crutch. But she didn't care. Her supply, she was getting attention. That's all she cared about. But the irony of it is she wanted that attention from Rick. Even though she was getting it from Shane, the one she really wanted it from was Rick. And Rick wasn't giving it to her because that's not how he operates. So they were not compatible. So why would Rick, after all he went through with his wife, go back into that same well? In the terms of find someone who is just as narcissistic as Lori, who is self-centered like Lori, who wants to feel important, so chases everyone they think is in charge. They wanted power, you know? So, and then she did that with men who wanted to take him down. He's not attracted to that. So it didn't make sense. It has to make sense for Andy. When he saw the qualification, when he saw Michonne, this badass, beautiful, sexy, and then how she, you know, I'm sure he read the story, well, knew about the character before, but he didn't work with her yet. He didn't meet Rick. He didn't have Rick and Michonne didn't meet yet, but he knew that she rescued Andrea and how she was operating at Woodbury. She was like him. She read people. She saw through the BS, right? And she was selfless, and she was, you know, she had all the common sense. She was intelligent. Rick is like, give me her. Andy was like, I want her for Rick. And he took matters into his own hand. Remember I was telling you guys at the beginning about Ryan Coogler, how he's unassuming, and people think that because he's so humble and unassuming, they think he's not reading them, that he is not sharp, that he doesn't know what he's doing, that he doesn't know what he wants. People do that with Andrew Lincoln. Andrew Lincoln is so nice. He's a nice man. He's very welcoming. He's very helpful. He's not pushy. He's laid back. And people, just like with Ryan Coogler, take that for a kind of, they can get over on them. They're like, oh yeah, he's, you know, Andy's so nice. Andy is like, to me, Andy knows what he wants, and he's like what do you call it? He's an immovable. He's an immovable iron. That niceness, just like Ryan Coogler's unassumingness, is always taken for weakness, where people think that they can get over them. And I see that same strength and backbone. Remember, I keep telling you what Denise Huff says. I don't think you guys realize the significance of this. She said Andy was in the writer's room almost every day in The Ones Who Live. People love to assume that the direction of the ones who live was mostly on Danai because it's about a romance. They love to assume that. They think Andy's not aware of people's, even the old writers' agendas, the old writers' biases. They think people are not aware. They think Andrew is not aware and Andrew's just go along. That's what people think because he's so nice, he's so affable. But he is steel. He is steel. Norman wanted Michonne for his leading, for Daryl to be paired with Michonne. Others wanted Morgan. He didn't say who, but he wanted. And I assume I would not be shocked. I can't say assume. I would not be shocked if when he was complaining that it's not fair that Morgan didn't get a love interest and he wanted a love interest for Morgan. A lot of people assumed he was talking about Carol. I think it was about Michonne. That was who his character was paired with. And he wasn't getting Michonne. He was getting this stupid story where he was acting so extreme and to boost Carol's character. And Carol had other pursuers. I don't think Morgan was about that. And I remember what Andy said. He remembered, Andy gave an anecdote. He talked about an anecdote when he and what's the actor's name that plays Morgan? Lenny. He and Lenny were sitting on the porch. I think it's probably he and Lenny were sitting on the porch. I think I know what scene it is. And he said they were sitting there and they just looked and there was Michonne. They said there was a samurai with dreadlocks and they're like, can you believe this? We are the luckiest guys, like, you know, to be in this show, whatever. They were just so in awe of Michonne. And it wasn't just, because Andy's always talking about being in awe of Michonne. But he said it was him and Lenny discussing Michonne. So I think, and then later I heard Lenny saying that he wished, you know, it's not, he begged them to give him a love interest. So there are many times, many other actors asked and lobbied for their characters to be with Michonne. And none of them got it, not even close. And I think it's because there was steel, affable, nice Andy would not allow it. And when there are things he advocated for that he didn't get, but this is one thing that he got. He was not joking about it. And he was frustrated with the writers about the Jesse storyline. Because there's no way, I'm telling you, he was going to get that pairing. No matter what they did, he was going to get that pairing. But unfortunately for Michonne, because of that determination, Michonne didn't get any play. And yeah, when you guys watch Michonne season 4, as I told you, I'm trying to get it up on Patreon. Look at that scene with Daryl and Michonne and tell me what you see. So Andy was standing solid. Andy was standing firm in this. So that nice affable man knows what he's doing. And when he did what reaffirmed to me that Andy is not all that he seems, where a lot of people just take him at surface value and he's very steely, was that statement by Denise Huth. And it tells me the fact that he was in the writer's room making sure the story went the way he wanted, that not even Denai did that. Denai just wrote episode 4, but Denai was not in the writer's room. Denai wasn't telling the writers what to do for the other episodes, you know? So it tells me that he was aware of the biases by the writers on the main show. And he was going to make sure that that did not persist in the show that he now had control over. And his statement, when people saying, "Oh, you're gonna, come back to The Walking Dead, you're gonna reunite, go on to Dead City, or you're gonna go to Daryl Dixon, and he said he will not do another. He will do it. If he does another The Walking Dead, it has to be written by Scott Gimple and Denai. What does that tell you? He was very aware what was going on. It was just, oh, shucks and nice, Andy. Don't be fooled. He was the number one for a very long time, and that comes with a lot of power. He didn't have all the power, but it comes with a lot of power, and he would have developed a lot of not just confidence, but influence. And he has it now. He only does projects he wants to do, and he has all the say. So, Cam J said, I actually thought they were trying to make Michonne and Abraham a couple. In season 5, episode 1, Abraham said, and this is why I'm waiting for a moment while watching Michonne. Yeah, they tested, trust me, the writers were playing a lot with Michonne. And that's why Andy was so vocal. Right? I'm telling you, there's many times that a lot of, not just the actors, but the writers were testing Michonne with people. And that's why every time Andy got in front of an interviewer camera, he's like, yeah, he brings up Michonne and Rick. Because he was saying, not on my watch. Rashida says, Raspberry, wishful thinking. Andy leaned into that kiss with Michonne. I don't know what. Yep, Norman said he wanted Daryl to be with Michonne. Yeah, he said it. And that was what some of the hate on Michonne was. Why some fans of certain characters hated Michonne. Danai didn't say it, and Michonne wasn't, it didn't happen, and it wasn't her pushing for it, so why are you hating on her? Rashida says Norman wanted Michonne for himself. Cam J says, I must admit, I have no chemistry reader. Rashida says, me either, Cam J. Raspberry says, Andy hated kissing anyone other than... I don't know about that. I just know he wanted Michonne for Rick because it made sense to him. It made sense. And Michonne was the best female character on the show. I'm not knocking any of the other female actors and characters. That's not what I'm doing. But Michonne was the best female character. She was pragmatic. She was very selfless. She was a straight shooter. She was a badass. She was very nurturing. It's just the qualities of the character, that she was the best female character. And as the lead, he's going to want his character to be with the best woman on the show, the best character, and he understood his character and what his character would go for, that what would work for his character, and Michonne was that character. So Raspberry says, I know, I always thought Daryl as a character was in the beginning, because he was very insecure. He was a very insecure character. Dealing Daryl was insecure, and he was dealing with a lot of trauma. And because of that trauma, he was insecure, and he didn't have that kind of experience with other, with just even dealing with a woman on any level. So not even romantically or sexually, just he just didn't have that confidence around women. So yeah, and then at that point, so when he came out swaggering and checking out Michonne, I was like, that's not Daryl. Rashida said during a Comic-Con, Norman said he wanted Michonne. So then you have Norman, and then you have other characters begging the writers to put their characters with a love interest, and they know that in the comic their love interest was Michonne. You can see why Andy put his foot down, because he had already decided it, that Rick would be with Michonne. And that's why he was playing Rick as in love with Michonne at the beginning of season 4. And that was mean of That was mean of Norman. He knew Andy wanted Rick with Michonne. So for him to start advocating for it, that was so mean. But, and I told you, Andy was playful and nice and affable about it, but when he said it, he meant it. And he was going to make sure it happened. So, Diane said Andy and his mom. Well, Diane, we don't know if his mom really did, or Andy was just using his mom to help sell the idea. He kept saying his mom, because even Denai teased him about it. It's like, your mom really, and Andy laughed. So we don't know. But he kept saying his mom. Rashida said Andy went hard for a campaign for Michonne. The haters like to deny it, that it did. Okay, yeah. Rashida, let go of what the haters think or say. They're haters, so they're going to lie and propagandize. So let go of what they're saying. Who cares what they say? We know what we saw, and we have the evidence. Facts, you cannot deny facts. And we have the interviews, we have the actors saying these things. So they can lie all they want. The truth calls them a liar. So whatever. Rashida said the actress that played Andrea to this day say that her and Rick was supposed to get together. Yes, she said that, but the creator of the show, not what's his name? Not the writer of the comics, not the creator of the comics, but the creator of the show, Darabont, Frank Darabont, who is a friend. Lauren is a friend of Frank Darabont. He brought her in. Frank Darabont said no, because she said her contract was supposed to be an 8-year contract, and she was supposed to end up with Rick. But Frank Darabont said no, he was never going to put Andrea with Rick. He was going to put Andrea with Dale, who Andrea was with Dale in the comics, but then later, after the Jesse arc, Andrea and Rick became a couple. Andrea forced herself onto Rick. Rick didn't want Andrea, and Andrea literally forced herself on Rick in the comics. So she's going by the comics, and she's claiming that that's what was supposed to happen, and that's what was promised to her. But Frank Darabont did an interview early this year, and he stated that he was never going to put Andrea with Rick Grimes. she was going to be there. Her story was going to be with his friend. The guy that played Dale was Frank Darabont's friend, and they were gonna have a May December romance, and they were gonna be serious and for the long run. So her thinking that she was gonna end up with Rick is delusions. Delusions of grandeur. Rick and Michonne make so much sense because they're able to lean on each other. They can depend on each other. Yeah, and Andrew Lincoln saw that. He's People don't understand. He saw that Michonne made sense for Rick, and he wanted that. He didn't want his character to be sabotaged, and he fought it. He fought for it. Raspberry said Rick fell in love on the road to term. No, he fell in love before that. Rick fell in love in the beginning of season 4. Watch my season 4 episode. I think, was it episode 1, guys? When Michonne came back, the episode where Michonne came back from searching for the governor. Watch my reactions for those episodes, and I explain it perfectly because Rick was in love with Michonne then, and when they asked in the interview, even though they were laughing and joking, when they asked Rick, when did Rick fall in love with Michonne, Andrew said the end of season 3, the time when he looked her up and down at the prison, when Michonne thanked him for taking her in and said she understood why he thought about giving her to the governor. They did a joke about Norman Reedus saying that Rick looked her up and down, and then he said, by the way, was my wife dead yet? He was talking about Laurie. So he joked and he said that was when Rick. And that's the end of season 3, start of season 4. I saw them connecting. I saw the attraction in that scene, but Andy said that's when he fell for her. I saw him. He said Rick fell for her at the end of season 3. Said Rick was in love with Michonne. He had fallen in love already with Michonne at the beginning of season 4. So from what Andy said, the end of season 3 and to when we went back, that time they're living at the prison, whatever, he was in love. I saw the fruits of it at the beginning of season 4. I saw Rick totally in love. He wasn't falling. He wasn't starting to fall. He was already in love. So it does line up with what Andy said. The end of season 3, at the end of the prison, at the end after the first getting rid of the governor, Rick was falling for her. But at the end of, he said he had fallen in love. But I think that's when he started to see who she really was. He really started to see her. But I think at the beginning of season 4, he was in love. And Andrew Lincoln backs me up. It's that he was in love with her by then. So Rashida said, Carolyn Morgan, God, no way. Raspberry said, Andy wanted Michonne to himself. He wanted Michonne for Rick. Yeah. Raspberry said, Andy even said around the governor actor that Rick and Michonne have a romance in season 3. Denai just laughed. Yeah, every time anybody, sometimes nobody, because nobody had brought it up in that interview with the governor, the guy that played the governor, and Daryl was there. Norman Reedus was there. And it was Denai and Andy. And they were asking Denai about her arc in season 3, and she was talking, and then Andy butted in and said, and her romance with Rick. And she, and she's like, oh yeah. And then Daryl jumped in. Norman Reedus jumped in and said, romance with Rick, there's going to be a threesome. He's involved. And Mr. Denai was like, what? And then Denai said, "Yeah, these three are gonna be together, but he's not gonna be a part of it." The guy that played the governor, he was like, "What? I want to be a part of it." Andy has been advocating for Rashon and even them having a baby. Yes, Raspberry. He's that was it. He told Denai the first day they worked together, she was his leading lady. He was determined, and he wasn't going to have it any other way. Raspberry said Andrew Lincoln is the number one Rashon shipper. Yes, he is. And Denai too. Denai loves Rashon. But Andy from day one, that was it. He made a decision. Uh Rashida said, you said Daryl and Michonne season 4. What episode? It the episode with Daryl flirting, it's season 4. It's you'll see it. With Daryl checking out Michonne. When I upload season 4 Michonne, it's in the clip. I don't remember what episode. I put all the episodes together. So I don't remember which one. Rashida. Raspberry says, I think 4-3 Rashida, when they went on a run for medical supplies, everyone thought Michonne was flirting with him. Rashida said, okay, I'm going to rewatch season 4, epi 1 and season 5, epi 1. But she said 4-3 Rashida. Raspberry said Michonne was so cute because she was saying she wasn't going to leave to look for the governor anymore, and Daryl was happy because she's staying. Yeah, and Daryl was being her Rick's wingman. That was what the writing was. That Daryl was supposed to try to convince Michonne to stay because Rick was very upset that she's leaving, and we saw that in episode 1. That's when I knew that Rick was in love with Michonne, and it solidified for me when he went to ask to spend time with her. He wanted to help her and she said no, and the disappointment on Rick's face, I was like, Rick, she just said she wants to, she's okay doing the job. But I understood when I saw his reaction that it wasn't just an ask to help do the work. It was an ask, can I spend time with you? And he thought she rejected him. So that when Carl came running to him and Carl wanted to spend time with him and he said no, he quickly changed his mind because he remembered how he felt when Michonne said no. And Carl was so happy that he changed his mind. But that was like, that solidified it to me that Rick was in love. I was like, oh my gosh, he's in love. He's so in love with her and she doesn't know. And he thinks she rejected him. But she didn't reject him. She was just simply just like, oh no, I can do this, don't worry. And he was devastated. Andrew Lincoln played that so perfectly. Maybe they just wrote it as a simple scene where he asks her for help and she says no. But the way Andrew Lincoln played it, he played it as Rick, hella disappointed that Michonne rejected him. And people don't understand. They're saying, and that's what I use and said, then if he wanted Michonne, why didn't he go with Michonne? Why did, when he was in Alexandria, why did he be with Jesse instead of Michonne? Rick thinks that Michonne doesn't love him that way. Rick wants to keep Michonne with him and Carl. Michonne was running away. She wouldn't stay at the prison. That was the issue with Michonne. She wouldn't stay home. And if Rick, who tried, remember Rick has no game. That was one of the things that Shane used to mock him about. Jesse is like Laurie, so he had no problems with approaching Jesse or whatever. Rick is intimidated by Michonne because 1, he's in love with her, and 2, he's in love with her, and 3, He's never met a woman like her. She didn't live in his little backcountry pokey town. They didn't have a Michonne's in his town. So he was not confident around Michonne. And the little game he tried, can I help you? He really wanted to spend time with her, but she said no. And look at the devastation on Rick's face. Then he sees Rick and Carl and Michonne bonding. He thinks he's in an unrequited love story. Do you think that Rick is going to mess with Michonne, show his feelings, Michonne reject him, and he think that Michonne won't leave? When she's always leaving, he and Daryl are trying to keep her back at the prison? Rick did not let Michonne know. Rick did not ask Michonne out because they were trying to, after the prison, it's all about survival. They didn't have time for that. But on top of that, he wants Michonne to stay. If he tells Michonne he loves her and want to be with her, and Michonne doesn't want him, do you not think it would get awkward and Michonne wants to leave? She was always leaving. He wants her to stay with him and Carl. He's not going to tell her he loves her. So when people are like, well, if he wanted her, why didn't he? He had no problem, kissing Jesse in front of, her strangers, like on the cheek. As I told you, he was in a fugue, caught up with the ghost of Lori past, but because he's confident about woman like Jesse, she's like a Lori. He's not intimidated by women like Lori. That's who he knows. That's who he grew up with. He was intimidated by Michonne. He was in love with her. He was afraid of her running away because he thinks his love was an unrequited love. So he's not going to mess up that. He's not going to, hey, Michonne, or I like you, Michonne, I love you, Michonne. And Michonne's like, sorry, I don't feel that way. Things are going to get awkward. She lives in his house. She lives with him. He made sure of that. He told her, you have influence over me. I will do whatever you say. I will go to Washington. If I told you my plot, you would tell me it's stupid and I would listen to you. He's telling her he loves her without telling her. And he's waiting for the opportunity. He doesn't know if it's reciprocated. He doesn't think it's reciprocated. He knows she loves him, but he thinks she loves him platonic. So he's not going to mess with her because Michonne was always running. And that's what people don't get. So that's why they're like, well, he had no problem going to... Jesse's easy for him. Jessie was throwing herself at him. Michonne is not throwing herself at Rick. Michonne is about her business. Michonne is like up here, lost up here, going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I want this to work. Oh my gosh, Rick is antagonizing the Alexandrians. I want this to work. What am I going to do? Michonne isn't thinking about any romantic love story. And Rick knows that. Critical thinking, people. Critical thinking. And Andrew Lincoln was playing it that way from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Yes, Rick was upset. Raspberry said he snarled and Daryl patted him on the stomach to comfort his discomfort. He was mad Michonne wanted to leave the group. Him, yes. She was always going to go search for the governor and he was mad. And Daryl, his wingman, who knew that Rick was upset, kept trying to talk her out of it. And that was that episode where they went on a run together. It was about Rick trying to convince her to Daryl convinced her, stop leaving the prison. Raspberry said, I take that, but I didn't realize he was in love with her at 4-1. I thought he was infatuated with her. No, he was infatuated with her at the prison, at the fence. He was infatuated with her from the beginning. He was attracted. And he was not understanding. He was like attracted, but fighting it and just not understanding why he was responding to her this way. He was very attracted. But by the end of season 3, Andy said he was in love with Michonne, and I said season 4 he was hella in love with her. Raspberry said Michonne was so cute because she's saying she wasn't going to leave to look for the governor anymore, and Daryl was happy because she was staying. Rashida said Raspberry, that scene was so cute. Rashida says, Raspberry says, yes, it was so cute. Rick was so concerned with Sharon. He wanted her to stay. Thank you, Rashida. Raspberry said he cared so deeply for her then he didn't want her to leave, especially because his son loves her. Yes, he didn't want her to leave. So he's not going to tell her, I'm in love with you. I know you're not in love with me, but that's awkward. Nobody in love with someone who doesn't know how the person feels is going to let them say it to them, because it's awkward if the person doesn't return the feelings. So no, he's not going to. Okay, let's finish up the episode. They just showed outside. The bell tower is cracking, and this is the scene.
Get outside the walls. Get back to our cars at the court.
This is the scene, guys. The iconic scene between Rick and Michonne. So Rick is telling Michonne the plan that he has to pull away the herd from the group. Okay, let's I'm gonna watch it and listen, and then we discuss it.
If we can somehow get outside the walls, get back to our cars at the quarry, we could use them to draw them away.
Set up more
Oh,
wash points.
remember I was saying, why didn't they take the cars out and pull the herd away? Just open the gate quickly. He said they had left the cars at the quarry, so they don't have any cars inside. That's why, because I was like, where are the cars? Come on. So he's telling Michonne his plan. Okay.
If we can somehow get outside the walls, get back to our cars at the quarry, we could use them to draw them away.
We set up more wash points. Coordinate the shooting of guns and flares so we could pull them out in even directions.
We need to get all our people on it. Carl, Tara, Rosita, Carol.
What about everybody else?
Well, let's just keep this to our own for now.
Really?
If we had the time to bring the people along, sure. We haven't had a chance to catch our breath.
Really? We're in here together. We're catching our breath right now. Anything else is just excuses.
Deanna.
So, okay. So Rick says, okay, so Michonne supports the plan and said we'll spread out and we'll do it at different points. So not just one car leading them away, have the cars at different points and lead them away. So Rick said, okay, let's get our people on it. And he mentions Tara, he mentions Rosita, he mentions Carol and someone else, but in their group. And Michonne was like, what? Michonne looks at him and said, really? Really? He said, look, I don't think the Alexandrians are ready. She said, because she said, our people, she said, what about the rest? She's talking about the Alexandrians. So he said, I don't think they're up to this yet. And she's like, really? Really? he said, she said, we're in here together. He keeps excluding the Alexandria. She said, we're in here together. That she's saying we're part of the, he said, yeah, but if we had time to get them up to speed, if we had a chance to catch our breath, you mean, they're dealing with one thing after another. So he's saying we haven't come to a point where we can assess things. We haven't caught our breath. We haven't relaxed from survivorship mode yet, where we can see what's happening with these people and get them up to speed. And Michonne said, we're in here together. We're catching our breath now together in this moment. We're catching our breath. The Alexandrians, stop otherizing them, Rick. We're in here with them. They can work with us. We can do this all together, right? She's saying, like, stop trying to push the Alexandrians away as if it's just us here viable in this little community. And Rick, she like, so Rick was like, really, Rick? That's nonsense, right? Just basically, that is nonsense. And Rick looks at her because Rick admires Michonne's pragmatism. He admires her straightforwardness. He admires that she's not afraid to challenge him, but she does it. She challenges him, but she's always respectful. But the way Rick looked at Michonne, Rick looked her up and down, that same up and down he did at the prison, to indicate that he was attracted to her. Andrew Lincoln said Rick fell for her, right? I saw attraction. Andrew said it was more than attraction. So I'm gonna go with Andrew Lincoln. He plays Rick Grimes, right? Well, if Andrew Lincoln is saying the look of lust, the look of attraction, looking Michonne up and down like that, did not just signify that he was attracted to her, but it signified that he was in love with her. There you have it. I've been saying he's in love with her. Andrew Lincoln said he fell in love with her. Everything indicates Rick is in love with Michonne. They're in Alexandria because he wanted to give Michonne what she wanted. He told her that we're only here because of you. In essence, I'm giving you what you wanted. What more do you want from me, right? So you think his little dalliance with a woman indicated she wants him, and him using that woman to play his little ghost stories, where if he's about that woman, why is he all up on Michonne like that? Why is he with his eyes undressing Michonne? I don't see, Rick doesn't look at Jesse like that. He's never looked at Jesse like that. The only look that I see that Rick has given Jesse was at the part that people would call attraction, but I didn't see I saw predator. A predatory, like, I'm going to use you, right? That look that undressing of Michonne with his eyes is him saying, I'm in love with you. According to Andrew Lincoln, I'm saying, oh my gosh, he's hella attracted. But the same look, and this one was even deeper. This one was more even obvious. He didn't hide it. He made it linger. He looked her up and down. He wasn't smiling like me. But you know what I'm saying? So, right? And I'm telling you, and I've been saying, Rick is in love with Michonne. He's using Jesse, and he actually doesn't want to be with Jesse. And so many people don't get what I'm saying. Then the other thing that I wanted to point out in this episode, this scene, remember How Rick was all about, we have to take care of Pete. We have to take care of Pete. He took care of Pete, right? He was all up in Deanna's grill about Pete being a danger to Jesse, right? And I told you it was about the danger, proving that he could take care of the danger and his Lori ghost would not die, right? I told you that was all. His obsession with Jesse was about that, right? I told you. Because he didn't seek out Jesse until he went walking that day and he saw Pete, I think. His desperation didn't start up until he sensed that something was off with Pete. And remember, the macro paranoia and the micro paranoia were both feeding each other. So this is a point that I was making. All up in Deanna's grill about Pete. Yet who did Deanna see Rick being in love with? Who did Deanna decipher Rick was in love with? It wasn't Jesse. Yet he was all about, you got to protect Jesse. Who did Deanna decipher Pete was into? When she came there and looked at them together, she said, oh, okay. Now I see who Rick Grimes is really about. Now I see what Rick Grimes is really about. Because she told on her deathbed, just a little after this, to Michonne, go after it. Michonne didn't know what the hell she was talking about, but Deanna knew. She was saying, you guys belong together, because Deanna saw it. Remember, Rick was all about protect Jesse from Pete. Yet Deanna not once thought Rick wanted Jesse. But she instantly, Rick doesn't talk to Deanna about Michonne, but she instantly, because, and it's not just from this, from the very beginning, when she was offering Rick the job, Rick looked, when Deanna looked at, said, you too, Michonne. And she sees the look that Rick gives Michonne. Deanna clocked it from the very beginning. Nobody in the group thought Rick was into Jesse. No one except Carol, because she was trying to manipulate Rick and trying to pull Rick and Michonne apart. Why are you trying to pull Rick and Michonne apart if you think there's nothing there? Think, people, think.
What's that?
Lance, for the expansion.
We got a few other things on our plate right now.
I know. These are for what Alexandria can be after this. Because one way or another, there's gonna be an after this.
Now, when the blade connects, don't jerk it right back. You'll get stuck.
Stuck?
Like an axe cutting into a tree. It's easier to get a blade into bone than out.
So,
Rosita is teaching them. So let me read what you guys said. Diane said the way Rick looks at Michonne after she says we are in here together and changing our breaths together, catching our breaths together, makes my heart melt. Yes, the way he looks at her, I'm telling you, it was a look of lust and love. Rick look shows love. He stared down Michonne. Yeah, to me, I was just like, to me, it was a look. he admires her so much. He loves her so much, and he is attracted to her. So it was all of that was wrapped up into that look. It was a look of lust. It was a look of admiration, and it was a look of damn woman. If I could, if I could, I would. It's there. It's there. And only those that don't want to see it cannot see it because it's there. Deanna saw that Rick was in love with Michonne. Yes, she did, Rashida. Right. Yes, Diane.
What should we do?
We should slide the machete down through the wound. One fluid motion. Okay, you ease it through the bone, like this. All right?
Hey,
She frightened
I'm a weapons novice holding a significant blade here. and there are people
Eugene.
in my proximity with open-toed shoes.
That's right. So get a grip. What are you so scared of?
I'll be dying.
Dying is simple. It all just stops. You're dead. The people around you dying, that's the hard part. Okay, because you keep living, knowing that they're gone, and you're still here. What you should be scared of is living. Knowing that you didn't do everything you could to keep them here. Too upset to keep going. Are the noises scaring you, or can I get back to my lesson?
Rosita is so hard on Eugene. But I can't blame her. Rashida said I could not stand Eugene from the time he got on the show all the way up to season 9. Yeah, I was not a fan of Eugene my first watch, but this watch I'm appreciating him as a character. The writer in me is appreciating the character. Ooh.
What are you doing?
That was Glenn. I was like, who snatched that girl? What, it was Glenn.
Taking you home.
I don't know you.
Why did you give me water?
I had it, you needed it. That doesn't make us friends.
We're not friends. I'm doing this for Maggie.
Your wife?
She wouldn't leave you behind. She wouldn't want me to leave you behind. So we're going.
I'm not friends with your wife either.
I'm not having this conversation. I'm not leaving you out here. We're going now.
No.
Oh, this Glenn and Enid storyline is annoying me. I don't care about this right now. Gonna get a sock. My feet are cold.
Give me the gun, Enid.
Turn around and walk away.
You're not gonna pull the trigger.
I will if you make me.
Let go.
Asshole.
You point a gun at me and I'm the asshole. Let's go. Out the back, down the alley. Taking the road, we need visibility.
Why?
Because half the herd broke off and they're headed towards home. I guess you missed that. Lead the way.
Ooh, look at the her falling apart. Rick. Tobin. See? He wants to help Rick.
Like you could use some help.
Yes, he could. Help him. Rick is so.
You know, I think we could build up a brace on this thing.
See what Michonne said? They can help, Rick.
What?
Why is she so... Oh my gosh, I hate this. What?
Your wife wouldn't have wanted me to kill it?
Oh, gosh. It's annoying. Oh, those are the green balloons. Okay.
I can use them to distract them.
It's a helium tank and no shrubs. More balloons, more string.
Don't mean anything as long as we keep this up.
You know, you scared the hell out of people when we first saw you. I know.
Stop making noise, Rick.
Scared the hell out of me. That beard, the way you looked around like you were seeing things we weren't. Hiding around the corners. Turns out you were. Things moved slow here. And then things just started moving fast. Too fast. But don't give up on us.
Aw. I didn't know about this conversation with Tobin and Rick. That was a nice conversation. He said, "Don't give up on us." You know, things moved slow and then it started moving fast, and we were scared of you, but you were looking like you saw things and we didn't see, and you're right, the things you did see, but I like that, you know, and it's what Michonne is trying to get through Rick's tough nugget.
Who did you stay with back home?
It's not my home. I lived in Olivia's place, but I was on my own. Orphan by walkers.
Me too. Probably.
It's just what happens.
I get that you're scared.
I'm not scared.
Yeah, you are. You don't want to lose anything again. So you give up and you say, that's just what happens.
I don't need a lecture.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, I don't. They're trying to get us to care so much about Enid. I just, whatever. Cam J say, I don't get this exchange. This existential crisis is so boring. Enid and Glenn, yes, putting me to sleep. Season 8 was not good for Eugene, but I was a fan in 6B and season 7. Raspberry says, and that was Diane. Diane said that. Raspberry says Michonne is Rick's angel on his shoulder. Yes, Raspberry. Michonne.
You honor the dead by going on, even when you're scared. You live because they don't get to. You think your parents wanted you waving around a gun because you're afraid?
We don't have to talk. We don't have to talk. Crap.
Oh, that was Ron. He's going into steel bullets. Look at this little dweeb. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, so they got there. They got there early. It's daytime.
Stop.
I said stop. What's the point? The world is trying to die. We're supposed to just let it.
No. You're wrong. We're not supposed to let the world die. And I sure as hell am not gonna let you die.
I'm sure your wife will forgive you.
It's not for her anymore. The walls are still up. The houses are still up. We'll find out the rest. Okay?
The only Rick just doesn't give up on people. Rick. I mean Glenn. Glenn doesn't give up on people. He's such a sweetheart.
The hell?
What did Cam J said? Eugene's character made sense to me. Yeah, I found that out. This go round Cam J. Rashida says she's dealing with her PTSD of her parents dying in front of her, and she's having this rebellious nature without conforming to Alexandria ways or go out on her own. I still found Edith to be annoying. Ron was such a loser. He wanted to hurt others for his father's mistakes, whether to conform to. Okay, yeah. And look at this idiot.
Hi. Spencer! Get back here! Tara.
Spencer.
Spencer, get back here now.
Spencer! Spencer, move!
Go! Keep moving! Hurry!
Eugene, have Maggie and Rosita fire their guns up from their posts.
Why?
Just do it!
Tara, I cannot in good conscience.
Just do it!
Oh my gosh.
Tara! You almost died once for these people!
What?
What the hell were you doing?
Lost the damn shoe. Crap. What was that?
I was trying to help. I wanted to get to a car, draw them away.
You ever make a climb like that before? You want help? Don't make us come running to save you. You got an idea? You come to me.
Would you listen to me?
Oh, I forgot about Scott.
Everything okay now?
Handle. Everything's fine.
Cheat sheets. Yeah. Probably doesn't give you a lot of faith.
I have faith.
Well, you have to, right?
You don't have to. I choose to. You should too.
So are you gonna tell me why you're here this time?
How well is the community stocked with antibiotics?
We're good.
I need to dress a wound, but I don't know if it's infected. I don't want to waste medicine if I don't have to.
Swap.
Now I know why he was hanging around Denise. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Morgan. Oh my gosh. I had forgotten about this part of the. What are we going to do with Morgan, people? What is Rick going to do with Morgan? Just, oh my gosh.
Fever, warmth, pus, pain, redness.
Tell me what it is.
Swelling. Let's take a look at your arm.
I didn't come in this morning because I didn't want to get you involved in something that you may not want to be involved in. In a secret. It's not my wound.
Carol is watching them. So baby Judith is the same. The baby Judith in these episodes is the same baby Judith that grew up with the twins, the blonde twins that played Judith. It's the same baby. She, because the baby that they brought into Alexandria was not this baby, but this baby from she grew up into little Judith with Michonne and Rick.
Hi.
I know you just took care of Judith this morning, but they need some help with the watch points after that thing with Spencer. Could you?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Unless you want me to take your shift.
No, I like being out there.
Even with all them outside?
You can see everything, even inside.
Let me just lock these up. Can you give me a second? Do you want to come in?
See, Michonne was not uh Judith's babysitter. Everybody babysitted the baby, right? Michonne was not a babysitter, right? She lived with Rick, but she wasn't babysitting. She wasn't a nanny, but Rick wanted Michonne in his house. So, why does Rick want Michonne in his house? She's not nannying his kids. So, Rashida said New Judith is from season 6 to season 9. Yeah. Oh, From. I've heard that show. From. I've heard of it. Yes, Cam J. You have fans that want you to react to From. Oh, 5 minutes left in the episode. So let's finish up, guys.
Carol?
Sam
Sam.
calling Carol.
Sam?
What happens if you can't live with it?
I told you, it eats you up. Can you come down here? I can barely hear you.
The people who came. Were they the monsters? Did my dad turn into one?
What?
If you kill people, do you turn into one of the monsters?
The only thing that keeps you from becoming a monster is killing. Thank you for this.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
See, Sam was so traumatized and no one was helping him. No one.
What do you have in that cell?
She's Carol is confronting Morgan. Who does he have in the cell? And here is Carl innocently walking and with this darn boy ready to kill him. Oh boy. And Michonne looking over the plans Deanna gave her and Rick. See, Michonne was all about trying to create a future in Alexandria for them. She wasn't thinking about romance and Rick. And there is the tower. Maggie, pay attention. Ah, she's because Maggie's. Do you see why they didn't see the tower falling? The person on the lookout is not watching. She's staring, looking down the road for Glenn. This obsession, I understand it's her husband and she's looking for him, but your responsibility is also to look about what's going on to protect the people inside. And she couldn't care less. She's focused on where's Glenn. Yes, Cam J. Jessie was a terrible mother. You think Rick would want Jessie taking care of being a mother, a stepmother to Carl? She's a terrible mother. Look who Rick wanted to be a mother to Carl. Someone he knows is has sense and is loving and nurturing. That's who he wants for Carl's stepmother, right? Here is this kid going through so much, and the two adults he's reaching out to, Carol and his mother, are just dismissing him and telling him things, feeding his head, adding to his trauma. That's when, that was so, it's beyond irresponsible. It's evil. It's terrible. That poor child. Cam J said, I did watch From when I had an MGM promo. I will try. Yay, Cam J, Rashida says. Diane says, not a Ron fan, but it's clear both of Jesse's kids have psychological issues from the abuse they experienced and witnessed from their father. Yes, Diane, but she's not helping. They're in trouble and she's not helping. Raspberry says, I love From. It's so good. I would love to react with you all. Diane says, it sickens me that Jessie was able to stand up to Pete to win favor with Rick, but she didn't do it to protect her children. Exactly. I'm telling you, Jessie is a Lori. It's all about her. You get what I'm saying? She wants to be the center of attention. She wants Rick to pay her attention. It's just terrible. You think Rick would want a woman like that as his life partner? Please. Raspberry said, Michonne is forward thinking. Yes, Raspberry. Cam J said, Jessie was clueless about her kids. Crazy. Yep. Cam J, I agree. Raspberry said, Cam J, I agree. Jessie was so thoughtless. She's self-centered. She's just like Lori. That's why Rick recognized Lori in her. She's self-centered. Zandra Laviness says, hey, Jesus loves you. Yes, he does, Zandra. And I love him too. Rashida says, look at Maggie. She's off the wall because you saying green balloons. That is supposed to be Glenn. Oh, I just noticed she's not looking what's going on. The tower is creaking and falling apart. She could have spotted that. But she's just focused on staring down the road for Glenn. No. That's a no-no. Tara is looking for Denise. Morgan took Denise to go look about a monster.
Hey, I'm sorry about before. I was just,
You're stupid. That we know.
I just meant what you did for him. You didn't have to.
I know.
You could have died.
I mean, I'd like to say I was thinking about it, but I wasn't.
Rick is saying she didn't have to and she would have died. How would she have died? She was up there on the tower, on the platform safe, and she was just shooting. How would Tara have died? I don't get that. Can someone explain to me? And Tara is a part of the group, but she just came. She's a Johnny come lately. So Rick acting all, why are you protecting these people over Tara? If it was like if it was Michonne or Maggie, I would understand. But the writing is just like, what?
Is that why you did it? You weren't thinking about it?
No, that's how it works with us. We're stuck with each other, right?
Rick, you saved my son. Thank you.
Thank Tara.
I already did.
Deanna is thanking Rick for saving her clueless son.
What Spencer did was stupid.
I can't argue that. At least you tried.
That's not the point. I could have tried. There was a chance.
How's that?
When the walkers were going for him, it made a gap. I could have jumped down, ran, made it out. I could have gotten a car, used it to lead the walkers away. I could have done that, and Spencer would be dead.
But you didn't do that.
Why?
Well, I helped save him because he's your son.
Wrong answer.
Deanna said, Rick said, I helped save him because he's your son. I could have used the gap when he fell and used it and ran away and get a car to lead them away. But I saved him because he's your son. She's like, wrong answer. Look at her. She's not paying attention. The tower is creaking and she's looking for Glenn. Because sent up the balloon to give as a signal that he's okay. And she left her post.
That's Glenn.
And there it goes. Kaboom. Kaboom. And it's over. That was a good way to end the episode. Wow. Hi, Osho. Thank you. Raspberry says the writing acts like Rick cares. Is that what you're saying, Raspberry? Oh yeah, like well, I think they're trying to push the Alexandria's them versus us. Don't care about them, don't do anything for them. But what she did to help Spencer, and he was helping Spencer too. The conversation didn't make any sense because it wouldn't make sense for him to not help Spencer. And he said he helped Spencer because he was Deanna's son. And what Tara didn't put Tara in danger. So they were just trying to make that the point that it's Rick still sees them, it's a them versus us. But using Tara for the us and the situation for the us didn't really sell the point. Yes, also we're watching The Walking Dead. Yeah, he cares more about Tara than the Alexandrians. So yeah, he doesn't really know Tara that well. Cam J says, what part of the episode moved the story forward? Hmm. Wait a minute. Clinton says, do you have glass eye? No, Clinton. Hi, Clinton. I'm in LA, Osho. Yes, Raspberry. Raspberry says yes. Besides the building falling on the wall, I cannot think of anything. It's the I think the focus of the episode is the us versus them, that Rick is still in that place while Michonne is looking to the future. Deanna gives her the map for the plans that she has for Alexandria for the future. So she gives it to Michonne. Right after Rick and Michonne were having the conversation, the us and them conversation. So that's the part showing Rick saving Spencer yet chastising Tara for doing the same. So, and then Deanna telling Rick, no, you didn't save him because he's my son. That's the wrong answer. So Deanna is trying to push the point to Rick. They are your people now too. And then, so she gave Michonne the plan. So it's like she's handing over the leadership to Rick and Michonne. The future plans to Michonne and trying to get through to Rick that, Rick, you may not see it yet, but the Alexandrias are now your people. You are going to be leading these people. And then the the conversation with Morgan and Rick was to hint at what's to come, where now Morgan is taking Denise to go help save that savior, which is going to play up into the next plots. So that was a B side, a B plot point, and the C plot point was Glenn and Enid coming back to Alexandria. So chaos is about, you have Ron going after Carl with a gun. So chaos is about to erupt, and the episode ended with the tower falling on the fence, bringing down the fence, and the walkers are going to come in. So all hell is going to break loose. But the main point of this episode was to show where Rick's head is at the start, because we know what's going to happen at the end, at the season finale. With what's going to happen. Rick is going to start in one place and he's going to end up in the other place, in terms of him finally accepting that the Alexandrians are a part of the group, and he's going to have to lead everyone. Handing over leadership. I get it. Cam J says, yeah. Diane says this was a Glenn's Alive episode people had been waiting for since episode 3. Yeah, but it was, he was alive, but it was a very C plot. It was a very C plot. The main plot was the start of Rick's arc in becoming the leader, the true leader for Alexandria and the people of Alexandria. Tara is still an outsider. To me, Rashida, she's not. She's no longer an outsider, but I don't see the bond what Rick has with her, where they would use her to actually be to bring about the point where Rick is angry with her for sacrificing herself for an Alexandrian. I think he would be more upset with a Maggie, with a with a Carol, somebody close that he's been with for a long time, with Michonne for sure. Camche said, besides the building falling on the wall, I can't think of anything. Camche said, I just don't get this episode. So is it made of plastic? I don't know what Clinton is saying. Glenn dies. We know, Clinton. You're not spoiling it for us. So sorry that you didn't get that thrill of spoiling it for us, but we know what happens to Glenn. Raspberry says, I think this episode is supposed to show how Rick is estranged from the Alexandrians. Yes, Raspberry. That's a part of it. Diane says, this was a Glenn. Oh, yeah, I read that. In Cam J handing over leadership. I get it. Raspberry said, I wish we had more Rishon moments. Of course, there's never enough. Never enough Rishon. Pathana says, honestly, people like Negan's arc, but I hate it because Glenn's death was actually quite pointless. The dominance and all, but I know dominance and all, but everyone knew the consequences already. I agree with you, Pathan. With where they took Negan and where they're still carrying him, Glenn's death was indeed pointless. So I so agree with you. Osho, yes, it is, Osho. Cam J says, I'm glad I did not watch this episode when it aired. Yeah, but you did see the Rishon scene, right? So you didn't need to watch the episode to see that scene, because yeah. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much we got through this episode, and it's I didn't mind it at all. It spent too much time on Glenn and Enid. That was so boring. And I did like the conversation with Rick and Michonne, Deanna, giving Michonne the future plans for Alexandria. And yeah, I didn't mind this episode except the Glenn and Enid thing. That really was just a lot of whining and waste of time. So they could have given that airtime to Rick and Michonne to show more of who they are and where they are in their relationship, even if Michonne doesn't know. We could see a little bit more, you know? I would have appreciated that. Um, Raspberry said thank you. Oh, thank you for coming, Raspberry. I so enjoy watching and reacting with you guys, you know, because you get it and I love your input. Rashida says, I told a few people on YouTube and Facebook. Oh, thank you, Rashida. You're so sweet. I love your support. I'm grateful for your support. Thank you. Ditto. Thank you. Thank you, Cam J. Oh, and I'm going through your episodes, Cam J. Like I told you how I would do it. I can't watch it yet because I haven't seen the majority of it, and I don't want to spoil it. But thank you so much, sweetheart. You're such a great supporter. And Diane, I love you. I love Raspberry. I love Rashida. I'm so appreciative of you. Thank you so much. And Pathan, thank you for stopping by, for coming in and sharing your insights. Ditto, Diane. Love you. Thank you. Okay, guys. Have a great rest of your Friday night. I hope you have a great Saturday. I'm uploading season 4, Rishon, on Patreon. Don't know if it will finish uploading tonight. It's a nightmare. I don't know what's going on, why it's so slow, but it will be there. And I put a little note under it. I wrote a little note and I said some of it in this live. So I sort of like summarize and give a tiny bit of insight, not in the video because it's just the episodes, and I left some scenes are not Rick and Michonne, but I left it in because it adds context to their scenes and to what they're going through. So in the description below, that's where I put all that information. So hopefully sometime by tomorrow, it will be up. Oh, Nor, yes, Nor was not feeling well. Please, everyone, please give a little prayer for Nor. She was not feeling well. That's why she wasn't on the last live. So I hope she's doing better. Thank you for reminding me, Rashida. We miss Nor. Love you, Nor. And Sandrine, hi, love you. Love you, all my guys. That's my faithful supporters, and I just love you. I can't do without you, and I can't wait to do more with you. And as we get closer and closer, and who knows, guys, if we get uh the Ones Who Live season 2, Cam J and I may do a collaboration. We might do a reaction. And if you guys want to join us, yeah, that would be so cool. We'll do live The Ones That Live collaboration. Oh, thank you, Rashida. I so appreciate you. Oh my gosh. I do. You like Song Hoon? I don't know what any Fen is, but okay. So guys, and yeah, when we finish Rishon, The Ones Who Live, like season 10, the Walking Dead, we're going on to The Ones Who Live. So can't wait to get into that one with you guys. And who knows, by then we'll hear about season 2. Okay, guys. Bye. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Love you. Mwah.